Chapter 2381. Water Stop Celestial Venerable, are you truly willing? The sea turtle took a breath, inhaling a large amount of seawater along with Lin Moyu's essence blood. After absorbing the essence blood, it didn't forget to close its eyes and savor it, even smacking its lips twice. Lin Moyu's mouth twitched twice. This senior seems to like eating blood. The sea turtle reopened its eyes, once again staring intently at Lin Moyu. However, Lin Moyu felt that the sea turtle's gaze had changed. Previously, its eyes were full of warning, but now, its gaze was more like appreciating a delicious dish. This guy, it couldn't be thinking of eating me, right? Lin Moyu thought of various ways to respond in his mind, considering how to deal with the situation if the sea turtle really decided to attack him. Divine Power Lich, Skeleton King, Ancestral Water, and he also had 4 celestial venerable corpses in his possession. Killing the sea turtle wouldn't be difficult, but the challenge lay in the potential chain reaction it might trigger. The sea turtle had mentioned rules in the interface C, clearly indicating that it wasn't the one who set these rules. There must be someone else behind it. Those who could stand behind a celestial venerable were likely to be Dao venerables. Killing a celestial venerable right after arriving in the interface C and offending a Dao venerable would mean he couldn't survive in the interface C anymore. Worse still, even the great world might be destroyed by a Dao venerable's palm strike. Fortunately, after watching for a while, the sea turtle finally shifted its gaze away. You may go, but don't let it happen again. The sea turtle was clearly somewhat reluctant, but it still gave up, evidently constrained by these rules as well. Lin Moyu's eyes flickered, and he first offered some flattery. Thank you, senior, for your magnanimity. May I ask for your esteemed name? This junior. The sea turtle snorted, interrupting Lin Moyu's words. Stop the flattery. It seemed a bit impatient, clearly not falling for Lin Moyu's tactics. Lin Moyu also understood that this sea turtle, having lived for who knows how many years, had become quite intelligent. Its mind was probably even sharper than that of humans. Lin Moyu persisted shamelessly. This junior is sincere, senior. Rest assured, I will abide by the rules of the interface C. If there's anything senior needs me to do, please don't hesitate to ask. The sea turtle tilted its head, looking at Lin Moyu. Telling you my name is not impossible. Do you have any more of that blood from earlier? Sure enough. It was after his essence blood. Because of the rules restricting it, it couldn't take by force, but if he offered voluntarily. Of course, he had essence blood, as much as needed. Even if he lost all the essence blood in his body, as long as his new life talent activated, it would be immediately replenished. For others, essence blood was very precious, but for him, it truly wasn't valuable. However, Lin Moyu wouldn't show this. No matter how worthless it was to him, he still had to act as if it was very precious. Lin Moyu said, for this junior to lose essence blood, recovery is very difficult, and it might even damage my foundation. Quote. As he spoke, he watched the sea turtle's expression. Seeing its face darken a bit, Lin Moyu quickly changed his tone, but if senior needs it, no matter how difficult, this junior will produce it. Frowning, he gritted his teeth and squeezed out 3 drops of essence blood. The moment the essence blood flew out, his face turned pale, and even his aura became unstable. Playing the part fully, he pretended to be in a weakened state, very convincingly. The sea turtle stared at Lin Moyu, as if trying to discern truth from falsehood. It was very cautious, not easily fooled by a few words. After a while, the sea turtle said in a low voice, are you truly willing to give it to me? As it spoke, its gaze was already fixed on the 3 drops of essence blood, unable to look away. Lin Moyu said, of course. The sea turtle continued to ask, this venerable hasn't forced you, are you sure it's of your own free will? Lin Moyu squeezed out a smile, of course, it's all this junior's own will. Saying this, he brought the 3 drops of essence blood before the sea turtle, delivering the gift right to its doorstep. The sea turtle finally felt at ease and accepted the 3 drops of essence blood. You're not bad. Since that's the case, this venerable can't mistreat you. As it finished speaking, a pearl flew out from its turtle shell, looking no different from the inheritance pearls Lin Moyu had seen before. The sea turtle placed the pearl in Lin Moyu's hand. This venerable's title is Water Stop Celestial Venerable. From now on, if you encounter trouble in this area, just use it to call me, and this venerable will come to help you resolve it. However, there's a price for this venerable's assistance, you understand. Lin Moyu immediately put away the pearl and said happily, thank you, senior. Water-stop Celestial Venerable grunted, feigning aloofness. All right, you may continue, but don't break the rules. This Venerable is leaving. After saying this, Water-stop Celestial Venerable turned and left, disappearing in an instant. Lin Moyu looked at the pearl in his hand. The pearl itself wasn't valuable, just a sensing tool. This was the interface C after all, where shells and pearls were the least scarce items. However, the pearl was still very useful. If used properly, it could greatly help him understand the interface C. From what I know now, Water-stop Celestial Venerable likes my essence blood. Actually, it's not the essence blood itself, but the origin aura within it. My origin aura is somewhat mixed, coming from 2 origin spells, the 4th level origin fish pill, the 5th level origin fire seed, and the 6th level great world origin. These origin powers have all merged into my blood, creating the special nature of my essence blood. Although the origin aura is concentrated, its actual effect isn't great, as the origin power is very diluted. Lin Moyu was very clear about the effects of his essence blood. While the origin aura was abundant, the actual power wasn't much. It was like a dish that smells fragrant but doesn't have much taste when eaten. He analyzed slowly, looking at it this way, Water-stop Celestial Venerable is like those strange fish, fond of origin power. It's just that the strange fish don't need to follow rules, while Water-stop Celestial Venerable does, so it can't take by force. Thinking of this, Lin Moyu had already figured out how to interact with Water-stop Celestial Venerable. He had a way to quickly become close friends with Water-stop Celestial Venerable. Of course, the premise was that he had to be sincere, which was very important. In front of a Celestial Venerable, one shouldn't play tricks. Celestial Venerables weren't fools. With sincerity, he could then try to get some information, which wouldn't be impossible. At least for Water-stop Celestial Venerable, it wouldn't lose anything. Lin Moyu changed locations and continued to search for strange fish. Unable to use origin power as bait, he could only use fresh blood to attract other fish schools, greatly reducing efficiency. However, the rules couldn't be broken, at least not with his current strength. Lin Moyu continued hunting in the interface C, relying on the number of skeleton divine generals. He was still able to attract quite a few fish schools. Gradually, he discovered that the interface C wasn't just filled with fish, but also had some other creatures. He had encountered a group of water snakes earlier, and later some crab-like beings. From this perspective, the interface C wasn't that different from ordinary oceans. Lin Moyu stayed in the interface C for 100 days before returning to the Great World. 100 days in the interface C translated to 2,700 years in the Great World. For the people in the Great World, 2,700 years was a very long time. Lin Moyu thought of those celestial venerables who had left, and the 2 million years in the Great World that had seen changes from ancient times to the present. In reality, only 20,000 years had passed. Such a large time difference was indeed hard to imagine. Lin Moyu returned to the Great World and sensed its origin. It was the same as when he left. The Great World's origin hadn't changed, neither collapsing nor recovering. However, this time, he brought origin power, enough to allow the Great World to recover somewhat. After nearly 3,000 years, Lin Moyu once again stood before the Great World's runes. Communicating with the Great World's runes, Lin Moyu let out a soft exclamation. 2 supreme beings have appeared in the Great World. Chapter 2382, 2382. Chapter 2382. The Great World's approval, Path to Tao. Venerable. The appearance of supreme beings in the Great World was expected. However, it was unexpected that 2 supreme beings would appear in less than 3,000 years. Lin Moyu was the creator of the Divine Path, and also its final link, holding a special status. He could sense all those who had become supreme beings by traversing this divine path. Lin Moyu quickly identified the 2 newly ascended supreme beings, the former Celestial Venerable Tian and Celestial Venerable Hao. They were now Supreme Being Tian and Supreme Being Hao. The emergence of new supreme beings in the Great World was cause for celebration, but Lin Moyu sighed softly. What a pity. Undeniably, both Celestial Venerables were exceptionally talented. To reach the level of Celestial Venerable in an era when the divine path was severed, their innate abilities were certainly remarkable. Unfortunately, they were constrained by their era, their foundations were not solid enough, their physical bodies and souls were imbalanced, and they took shortcuts when ascending to the other shore. All these factors combined cut off their future path. Their ability to become supreme beings was already commendable. To take another step forward and become Celestial Venerables would be impossible without an extraordinary stroke of luck. Lin Moyu felt helpless about this and could only sigh in regret. Standing before the Great World's runes, Lin Moyu took out the origin crystals. There were quite a few origin crystals, but these origin crystals from the interface C were mixed and weak. Compared to the Great World's origin, they were vastly inferior. Seemingly sensing the origin crystals, the Great World's runes trembled slightly, revealing simple thoughts. It wanted to consume these origins, as they would be beneficial to itself. The Great World had its own instinctive will. It knew what was good for itself and what was harmful. Lin Moyu tried to communicate with it. Do you need my help to refine them? The worlds will seemed to understand Lin Moyu's words and gently trembled to indicate it didn't need help. Lin Moyu said, then go ahead yourself. As he spoke, he sent the origin crystals over. There were 102 first-grade origin crystals, 31 second-grade origin crystals, and 1 third-grade origin crystal. This was the harvest from 100 days, which was quite good. The third-grade origin crystal also came from a stinger fish. At that time, he encountered a school of 36 stinger fish, and that battle was quite difficult for Lin Moyu. He also understood why even Celestial Venerable Tianlong, with his Celestial Venerable status, would be injured when facing stinger fish. Lin Moyu had resurrected stinger fish before, and aside from their sharp teeth and fast speed, they didn't seem particularly extraordinary. It wasn't until he encountered stinger fish in the interface C that he realized it wasn't that simple. The reason they were called stinger fish was because of the spines on their bodies, which could be fired like arrows. The spines moved at an absurd speed, with terrifying attack power, and once launched, they were hard to dodge. Even the Skeleton King couldn't withstand a single hit. The most troublesome part was that once the Skeleton King died in battle, it couldn't be summoned again to rejoin the fight for a short period. In that battle, Lin Moyu used almost all his techniques except for corpse explosion. Out of 250 Skeleton Kings, a full 200 died. In the end, it was only through the joint efforts of the Buddhist Realm Lich and the Divine Power Lich that the 36 stinger fish were defeated. Fortunately, it was only 36 stinger fish. If there had been more, he might have had to use his trump cards. The stinger fish in space and those in the interface C, although both were peak supreme beings, had completely different combat capabilities. After that battle, Lin Moyu immediately returned to the Great World, no longer lingering. From the 36 stinger fish, he only obtained 1 fish pill, which wasn't a very high yield. Lin Moyu had considered whether to merge these origin crystals to create higher-grade origin crystals. However, after some thought, he chose not to merge them and instead handed them directly to the Great World's runes, thinking perhaps the Great World's runes had their own methods. Now the Great World's runes were shining brightly, and an incredibly complex ancient rune flew out from it. The complexity of this ancient rune was unprecedented to Lin Moyu. It was the most intricate of all the ancient runes he had seen, comparable to the sub-runes representing laws and the Tao evolved from the Great World's runes. The Great World's runes were the core of the Great World, and everything within the Great World was evolved from it. It seemed normal for it to evolve such complex runes. The ancient rune burst into roaring flames, turning into a sea of fire that engulfed the origin crystals. The origin crystals melted in the flames, all impurities were removed, leaving only the most basic origin power. What the Great World needed was precisely this most basic origin power. It joyfully absorbed the origin power, and Lin Moyu could feel that the Great World's origin was once again beginning to recover. Some of the fine cracks that had been on the Great World's runes also disappeared. Lin Moyu could clearly sense that the Great World's origin recovery had increased from the previous 60% to 70%. The origin crystals he brought had allowed the Great World to recover 10% of its origin power. Lin Moyu smiled, if quality is lacking, make up for it with quantity. Soon, the Great World's runes had refined and absorbed all the origin power. Suddenly, the Great World's runes once again evolved an extremely complex ancient rune. The ancient rune flew directly in front of Lin Moyu, landing in his hand. Lin Moyu looked at the ancient rune. You mean for me to refine it? The Great World's runes trembled lightly, indicating yes. Lin Moyu chuckled softly, enveloping the ancient rune with his soul power to refine it. The ancient rune melted in his palm, and the next moment it appeared in the rule's world, right next to his soul body. The ancient rune continued to evolve in the rule's world, releasing large amounts of origin power while simultaneously transmitting streams of information into his soul. The information transmitted from the Great World was vast and complex, containing countless knowledge about runes. Lin Moyu quickly received and digested this information. However, this ancient rune continued to evolve, gradually taking on the appearance of the Great World's runes, looking like a miniature version of the Great World's runes. Only it was more delicate and lacked the vast power of the Great World's runes. After receiving all the information, Lin Moyu's gaze became extremely complex. Unexpectedly, in this situation, he had gained the approval of the Great World's runes. Not the kind of approval that comes with becoming a supreme being, but true approval. The Great World's runes were willing to entrust themselves to Lin Moyu, to entrust the entire Great World to Lin Moyu. Throughout history, countless people had wanted to gain the approval of the Great World's runes, to truly control the Great World. Even celestial venerables had thought that one day, when they fully gained the approval of the Great World's runes, they could become Tao venerables, becoming the masters of the world. But it had never been achieved. Lin Moyu was also surprised that his actions had unexpectedly gained the initial approval of the Great World's runes. Of course, it was only initial approval. He was still far from truly controlling the Great World and becoming the master of the world. Lin Moyu now knew what he needed to do: continue to seek origin crystals to fully restore the Great World, and he needed to become a celestial venerable himself. Only a celestial venerable could barely be worthy of the Great World. He needed to grow together with the Great World, ultimately becoming the master of the Great World. Becoming a celestial venerable was one of the necessary conditions for becoming the master of the Great World. Chapter 2383, 2383. Chapter 2383, capable of killing peak supreme beings. Lin Moyu recalled something the mysterious master once said: if the Great World is truly fortunate enough to be saved, it might break and then stand anew, reborn and transformed. Now, this situation seemed to be unfolding right before him. When the Great World is fully restored and he himself ascends to Celestial Venerable, he will be confident in collecting more origin crystals. By merging the origin crystals into higher grade ones, he can elevate the level of the Great World and simultaneously enhance himself. Lin Moyu clearly saw the path ahead and knew what he needed to do. Nearly 3,000 years had passed, and generation after generation of human geniuses had risen to prominence. Some geniuses displayed astonishing talent, reaching the other shore in less than 1,000 years of cultivation, showing great potential to become supreme beings. Especially in the last 1,000 years, the most renowned figures among the human race were naturally Supreme Being Tian and Supreme Being Hao. When they achieved Supreme Being status, the Great World's origin descended with rewards, almost announcing it to the entire world. The Human Emperor Network also announced this, letting everyone know. Supreme beings, above Saint Venerables, are currently the highest existence among the human race. In comparison, Lin Moyu's legend had gradually faded over time, with fewer and fewer mentions of him. Only the older generation of cultivators, those who had once fought alongside Lin Moyu, knew how powerful he truly was. Outside the human race's divine city, two giant palaces floated in the starry sky. These two palaces were built within the last few hundred years, grand and imposing, constantly releasing powerful pressure. The owners of these two palaces were Supreme Being Tian and Supreme Being Hao. The palaces were known among human cultivators as the Supreme Palaces, symbols of the highest status within the human race. As the Great World began to absorb origin power and recover once more, Supreme Being Tian and Supreme Being Hao simultaneously sensed it and flew out of their Supreme Palaces. They gazed at the Great World's runes in the starry sky, but with their abilities, they could only see some blurry images. It seemed as if they saw a phantom figure appearing before the Great World's runes. Supreme Being Hao smiled. Lin Supreme has returned. Supreme Being Tian also smiled. He must have gained something in the interface C. I can feel that the Great World's origin has recovered somewhat. Supreme Being Hao laughed. Lin Supreme's abilities are beyond our imagination. Both of them had also been to the interface C and had fought with the strange fish there. They knew those strange fish were very strong, and they were no match for them, risking their lives. Hunting strange fish to obtain origin crystals was incredibly difficult. Lin Moyu, however, could do it easily, which already showed the vast difference in their combat capabilities. Supreme Being Tian sighed. It's a pity that our foundations are not solid enough. The position of Celestial Venerable is out of reach. Supreme Being Hao squinted. Being able to ascend to Supreme Being, you should be content. If it weren't for Lin Supreme, we would still be Saint Venerables now, not even half-step Supreme Beings. Their ability to ascend to Supreme Being was due to many factors, one of which was the World Fruit given by Lin Moyu. The World Fruit made their rules world more solid, repairing part of their foundation. Additionally, Lin Moyu had lowered the difficulty of the divine path to an extremely low level, allowing them to smoothly traverse it and achieve Supreme Being status. Supreme Being Tian laughed heartily. We should still think about it. What if there's a chance? Now that we are Supreme Beings, when the Great World is fully restored, we can live for at least another 200,000 years. 200,000 years, anything is possible. Supreme Being Hao shook his head. You are already a Supreme Being, but your arithmetic is worse than a newborn baby at home. Don't you know your own age? Where do you have 200,000 years left? Supreme Being Tian didn't mind at all, it's almost the same. Maybe one day, if my cultivation advances further, I can live a few more thousand years. Supreme Being Hao sighed. It's truly a good era. I seem to see the Great World becoming great again, with one celestial venerable after another emerging. Supreme Being Tian said, it will happen. With Lin Supreme here, it will all happen. The two chatted, seemingly full of hope for the future. The space around them slightly distorted, and Lin Moyu's figure appeared with a smile. Congratulations to both of you on ascending to Supreme Being status. Supreme Being Hao and Supreme Being Tian also smiled. Lin Supreme must have been busy recently. How are things in the interface C? Lin Moyu said, I have already informed the human emperor of the specifics. You can check directly. At this moment, the human emperor also condensed his form. The information has been received. Those above Supreme Being can check it. Although the human emperor was still a half-step Supreme Being, he still managed everything within the human race. As the former senior of Supreme Being Hao and Supreme Being Tian, even though they had now become Supreme Beings, they still respected the human emperor greatly. After checking the information, Supreme Being Hao sighed. The interface C is indeed dangerous. What we encountered last time were just the most ordinary strange fish. Supreme Being Tian also said, we were lucky. If we had encountered a lightning fish, we probably wouldn't have returned. The last time they went, they encountered only a few strange fish at the Supreme Being level and almost lost their lives. They knew the dangers of the interface C and dared not go again. Lin Moyu laughed. Actually, in the interface C, most of the fish are at the other shore and Saint Venerable levels. There aren't that many at the Supreme Being level. After 100 days of adventure, Lin Moyu had gained some understanding of the interface C. The deeper the water, the stronger the creatures. The strange fish that had once crashed into the Great World were mostly at the other shore and Saint Venerable levels. Only when the water depth exceeded 10,000 meters did the number of Supreme Being level strange fish increase. Supreme Being Tian and Supreme Being Hao were purely unlucky to have encountered them. The human emperor was the first to check the information and said in a low voice, the interface C also has its own rules. Can we get some information from this water-stop celestial venerable? Lin Moyu said, I think so too, but before that, I need to make some preparations. The human emperor said, whatever you need, just say it. Lin Moyu nodded, I will let you know if I need anything. Here are the things I brought back. As he spoke, he waved his hand, and countless fish meats appeared in the starry sky. These fish meats came from strange fish of different levels, clearly classified from low to high by Lin Moyu. Different fish meats were suitable for different cultivators to consume. The human race's alchemists would refine them into different levels of elixirs and distribute them as task rewards. In 100 days, Lin Moyu had killed countless strange fish. Some were taken by the eternal Buddha kingdom, some became resurrected beings, and the rest were here. Seeing so much fish meat, Supreme Being Tian and Supreme Being Hao were speechless with shock. They looked at each other, having almost lost their lives encountering just a few strange fish. Lin Moyu had brought out thousands upon thousands of them. They were all Supreme Beings, but the difference was so vast. Moreover, it seemed that the higher the level, the greater the gap between them. The human emperor was also unceremonious, directly packing up all the fish meat and taking it away for reasonable distribution. Supreme Being Tian suddenly lowered his voice, looking cautious, Lin Supreme, I am just curious and have a question. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. Lin Moyu found Supreme Being Tian's demeanor amusing, no need to be so polite. Just say what you want to ask. Supreme Being Tian asked, what level is your combat power now? Everyone present knew that Lin Moyu's combat power couldn't be measured by his realm. They had some understanding of Lin Moyu's combat power in the past, but they didn't participate in the battle when the battle realm arrived, and their understanding had become increasingly vague since then. Lin Moyu satisfied their curiosity, if I don't use my trump cards, killing a peak Supreme Being shouldn't be a problem. Hiss. The two supreme beings gasped. Without using trump cards, he could kill a peak supreme being. One must know that Lin Moyu was currently only a low-level supreme being. This combat power was beyond extraordinary. Thinking deeply, if he used his trump cards, wouldn't he be able to kill even a celestial venerable? Chapter 2384, 2384. Chapter 2384. Bribing the celestial venerable with wine. Although for Lin Moyu and his companions, they had only left the Great World for 100 days, inside the Great World, 2,700 years had passed. In over 2,000 years, the Great World had undergone significant changes. This time, upon returning, they did not rush to leave again. Lin Moyu took Yuzhu and Yu Qingru to walk around the Great World, observing the changes within it. During the time when the Great World's origin began to recover, the changes were often the greatest. Once it stabilized in the future, the changes would become smaller. Lin Moyu noticed that new stars had begun to appear in the Great World. This indicated that the Great World had started to evolve and nurture new resources again. In the future, it would no longer be a case of sitting and eating away at its resources, and the Great World would gradually flourish. As the origin recovered more, the speed of evolution and nurturing would further accelerate. Not only would a large number of resources appear during the nurturing process, but various natural secret realms and dangerous, wondrous places would also emerge one by one. At that time, cultivators could go on adventures and train themselves. The entire Great World was moving in a positive direction. After staying in the Great World for a while, Lin Moyu planned to head to the Interface Sea again. This time, he not only intended to hunt strange fish but also to seek out Water-Stop Celestial Venerable. He hoped to learn some information from Water-Stop Celestial Venerable and had made some preparations for this. He asked the human emperor for some wine, which could be considered the best wine among the human race. The vintages varied, with the shortest being 5,000 years and the longest 50,000 years. Lin Moyu categorized the wine into jars, each weighing 10,000 catties. He infused a large amount of origin aura from his body into the wine. The shorter the vintage, the less origin aura it contained. The longer the vintage, the more origin aura it contained. Lin Moyu knew very well that Water-Stop Celestial Venerable's personality was likely to be cautious. Building a relationship with Water-Stop Celestial Venerable wasn't a one-time thing, it required a gradual approach. Once everything was ready, Lin Moyu left the Great World again and re-entered the Interface Sea. The Interface Sea world remained unchanged, boundless and vast, with a layer of dark clouds always covering the sky, making the sea surface appear low and oppressive. Lin Moyu didn't know what the world outside the Interface Sea was like, but he believed that one day, he would go beyond the Interface Sea to see it. Upon arriving at the Interface Sea, Lin Moyu took out the pearl given by Water-Stop Celestial Venerable and activated it directly. The pearl shone brightly and then turned into powder, completely dissipating. Moments later, a continent suddenly appeared on the distant sea surface. The turtle shell on Water-Stop Celestial Venerable's back emerged from the water, moving at a rapid speed, and in the blink of an eye, it was in front of Lin Moyu. Water-Stop Celestial Venerable stared at Lin Moyu, its eyes gleaming. "What trouble have you encountered?" Lin Moyu smiled. "No trouble." Water-Stop Celestial Venerable snorted coldly. "If there's no trouble, why summon me? Do you think my pearl is worthless?" There was a hint of displeasure in its words. A dangerous aura rose, and vortices appeared around Water-Stop Celestial Venerable. In the Interface Sea, its body was about 1% the size of the Great World, similar to the size of the Battle Realm back then. If it collided with the Great World, Lin Moyu had no doubt that the Great World would be left with a huge hole. Lin Moyu's expression remained unchanged. "Senior, you misunderstand. I just wanted to give you something. Give me something." In Water-Stop Celestial Venerable's puzzled gaze, Lin Moyu took out a jar of 5,000-year-old fine wine. The wine contained origin aura, much richer than the origin aura in the few drops of essence blood from before. Water-Stop Celestial Venerable's eyes immediately lit up. Origin wine. Lin Moyu knew very well that the origin aura in his essence blood didn't provide much help for cultivation. Water-Stop Celestial Venerable simply liked the taste of origin aura. Besides origin aura, it also liked fine wine. Last time, when Water-Stop Celestial Venerable came, it carried a faint smell of wine. So Lin Moyu deduced that Water-Stop Celestial Venerable also liked wine. Combining origin aura with fine wine made it the best item to build a relationship. Now, it seemed he was right. Water-Stop Celestial Venerable's expression didn't lie, it was very interested in the origin wine. However, it remained cautious, quickly shifting its attention away from the wine. "Why are you giving me this?" Lin Moyu said, "No particular reason, just to thank you, senior." "And?" Water-stop Celestial Venerable asked in a low voice, "And what?" Lin Moyu said, "And you are the first senior I met in the interface C who I could communicate with." Water-stop Celestial Venerable seemed to understand the implication in Lin Moyu's words and said directly, "You want to know about the situation in the interface C, right?" Not only cautious but also very smart. For a smart person, Lin Moyu naturally chose to be straightforward. "Senior is correct. As a newcomer, I indeed want to know more about the interface C to avoid making mistakes again." Water-stop Celestial Venerable's eyes flickered as if it was thinking. During its contemplation, its nose kept twitching, and Lin Moyu patiently waited without urging. After a while, Water-stop Celestial Venerable said, "Considering you have some manners, I can tell you some trivial matters." Lin Moyu was delighted. "Thank you, senior." He handed the jar of wine to Water-stop Celestial Venerable, who opened it and took a big gulp. This gulp alone was at least 100 caddies. Water-stop Celestial Venerable smacked its lips, half-tilted its head, and looked as if it was enjoying itself. "This wine has aged for at least 5,000 years and is infused with origin aura. It tastes really good. You people from the Interface C world have this advantage: the fast flow of time is perfect for aging wine. If I had an Interface C world, I would definitely fill it with fine wine." Lin Moyu smiled, "As long as you like it, senior. I was in a hurry this time and didn't prepare enough. Next time, I'll bring more aged wine." In fact, he had already prepared a large amount of fine wine. What he gave now was the worst kind. As Water-stop Celestial Venerable said, due to the time flow, the Great World was indeed a good place for aging wine. Water-stop Celestial Venerable's eyes sparkled slightly, clearly satisfied with Lin Moyu's words. "All right, ask what you want to know. I'll tell you what I can." Lin Moyu smiled, "I'm not sure if my questions are appropriate. If I ask the wrong ones, it wouldn't be good. If you don't mind, senior, could you give me a general overview first?" Lin Moyu threw the question back to Water-stop Celestial Venerable. He indeed had many questions, but he wasn't sure if some of them could be asked. It was better to let Water-stop Celestial Venerable speak first. It knew what could and couldn't be said. Water-stop Celestial Venerable chuckled, as if seeing through Lin Moyu's thoughts. "All right, I'll tell you some simple things. The world you came from, we call it the Interface C world. In the Interface C, there are many such worlds, countless in number. These Interface C worlds float above, encountering other worlds, competing and devouring each other. The victor can continue to stay in the Interface C, while the loser collapses and dissipates. Your Interface C world has grown to this extent, so it must have devoured quite a few worlds. But it seems to have been injured as well." Water-stop Celestial Venerable stared at the Great World for a while, as if seeing through its origin, and chuckled. "All the Celestial Venerables inside have left, haven't they?" Lin Moyu was shocked. It could even see that. Chapter 2385, 2385. Chapter 2385. Wanting it all. Water-stop Celestial Venerable took another sip of wine, drinking less this time, probably trying to savor it. He only drank about 10 caddies. Otherwise, at his drinking pace, even 10,000 caddies of wine wouldn't last many sips. Burp. Satisfying. Water-stop Celestial Venerable let out a wine burp before continuing. "Don't be surprised, I've seen many such Interface C worlds. When a world is failing, how could the Celestial Venerables inside be willing to die along with it? Of course they would flee, leaving the Interface C world, then seeking a new path. This is human nature." Lin Moyu's gaze held contemplation. Perhaps it really was like this. Who knows how many years Water-stop Celestial Venerable had lived, but just considering the difference in time flow, Water-stop Celestial Venerable's 10,000 years in the Interface C would be 100 million years in the Interface C world. Moreover, Water-stop Celestial Venerable was likely far older than 10,000 years. In such a long span of time, how many Interface C worlds' rises and falls had Water-stop Celestial Venerable witnessed, and how many Celestial Venerables had he seen fleeing Interface C worlds? Lin Moyu very much wanted to ask what happened to those Celestial Venerables who fled afterwards. However, he didn't speak up, not wanting to interrupt Water-stop Celestial Venerable. Water-stop Celestial Venerable sneered with mockery. "Those fools, thinking that leaving the Interface C world would allow them to find a new path. Laughable, they have no idea what they're facing, their path is completely wrong." Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat. From Water-stop Celestial Venerable's tone, it seemed those Celestial Venerables who fled the interface sea worlds would end up in a miserable state. Water-stop Celestial Venerable continued, "This world is fair, there are rewards only with effort. Those who betrayed the interface sea world, how could their future path be smooth? Just the karma they carry is enough to crush them. Celestial Venerables of the interface sea world, they're nothing." He took another sip of wine and went on, "Kid, I see you're not bad, so I'll give you a piece of advice, don't betray your own world. If you want to betray it, do it early, don't wait until you become a supreme being to betray." Lin Moyu understood somewhat. After becoming a supreme being, one would carry the origin of the great world. At that point, leaving the great world would cause harm to it, bearing the karma of the great world. This karma wasn't something an ordinary person could bear, not even a celestial venerable could. If one wanted to leave the great world early on, they should do so before becoming a supreme being. Lin Moyu thought of Lin Mohan. Lin Mohan had become a supreme being outside the great world. So for Lin Mohan, she could freely leave the great world, there was no concept of betrayal. This was Lin Mohan's path. Recalling what Lin Mohan had said before, Lin Moyu realized that Lin Mohan must know some information that even he didn't know. Water-stop Celestial Venerable seemed to have finished venting about interface sea world matters and began talking about other things. The interface sea is vast, extremely vast. This area of about 100 million kilometers in diameter is under my jurisdiction. Besides this, there are many other sea areas, with different people in charge. Don't confuse the distances in the interface sea with those in the interface sea world. Here, your speed can't be fast. Even if you've comprehended the space laws of the interface sea world, they're useless here. The rules in the interface sea are very strict. Once you violate the rules, you'll naturally be punished. Even if you hide in the interface sea world, it's no use. In serious cases, they might destroy your interface sea world along with you. Water-stop Celestial Venerable spoke while drinking, saying quite a lot. Perhaps because he had drunk too much, towards the end, Water-stop Celestial Venerable became increasingly excited. From his words, Lin Moyu analyzed and summarized, finally obtaining some information. First was about his own great world. This type of great world was uniformly called an interface sea world, and there were many in the interface sea. Celestial Venerables from the interface sea worlds were nothing in the eyes of Celestial Venerables like Water-stop. Once those Celestial Venerables left the interface sea world, their laws would become ineffective, their power would greatly weaken, and their realm would drop by at least one level. Lin Moyu's experience also corroborated Water-stop Celestial Venerable's words. He felt very strained when facing the stinger fish. If it were in the great world, stinger fish would be nothing. This was no longer just a matter of adaptation, but of having to comprehend and cultivate anew, far more difficult than imagined. Those Celestial Venerables who left the interface sea world wouldn't have an easy time. Secondly, the interface sea was divided into countless regions, each region had an administrator, and each administrator was a Celestial Venerable. Although Water-stop Celestial Venerable didn't explicitly say it, he inadvertently revealed that there was a powerful force in the interface sea. This force managed these Celestial Venerables and was the true master of the interface sea. He inadvertently mentioned a word, King. The King of the interface sea. In Lin Moyu's view, the King of the interface sea must be at least at the Tao Venerable realm. Water-stop Celestial Venerable finally finished speaking. Of the 10,000 caddies of fine wine, he had already drunk over 1,000 caddies. Alright, I've said about enough. If you have any questions, ask quickly. Lin Moyu said, as you know, some time ago, my world had a conflict with another world. That world had a Celestial Venerable backing it, and I was lucky to have a Celestial Venerable friend as well. He helped me fend off the other side's Celestial Venerable and even killed them, but then 4 more Celestial Venerables came and invaded my world. Water-stop Celestial Venerable chuckled, I know about that incident. Your Celestial Venerable friend was from the dragon race, right? Not bad, actually able to make the dragon race violate the rules and intervene in world conflicts. Clearly, your relationship is quite good. Those 4 Celestial Venerables later were purely courting death. World conflicts originally couldn't be interfered with, the karma involved is too great. Now seeing your world intact, those 4 Celestial Venerables must have died, right? Listening to his words, Lin Moyu realized that he didn't know that those 4 Celestial Venerables had actually died at the hands of Antares. Lin Moyu nodded slightly, yes, they all died. Water-stop Celestial Venerable smiled even more brightly. I told you so, with such great karma, it's purely seeking death. Moreover, entering an interface sea world, a Celestial Venerable's power would be suppressed, only slightly stronger than a peak Supreme Being. What use is that? If you want to play this game, you have to follow the game's rules. If you can't accept losing, don't play. This world is very fair, you can't have it all. Lin Moyu was slightly startled. Senior, you say world conflicts are a game? Water-stop Celestial Venerable laughed. Indeed it's a game, but the winner of this game gains unimaginable benefits. It's a pity that this old turtle can't participate in this game, otherwise I'd like to try too. At most, it would just waste some time. This old turtle has nothing if not a long life. Lin Moyu seized the opportunity to ask, what benefits are there after victory? Water-stop Celestial Venerable chuckled, letting out a whine burp. Gaining origin, elevating realm, ascending to Tao Venerable. Everyone wants to become a Tao Venerable, but how many can actually become one? Even if you become a Tao Venerable, so what? Is a Tao Venerable the end? Cultivation is like climbing to the sky, the higher you go, the harder you fall. Among those behind the great worlds, how many can make it to the end? Forget it, this old turtle doesn't want to think about it anymore. Cultivate slowly, live well, maybe one day I'll become a Tao Venerable. This game, this old turtle is too lazy to participate. It's not fun at all. He seemed to be a bit drunk, his words becoming confused. Lin Moyu listened carefully, not missing a single sentence, while constantly analyzing in his mind. At the same time, he didn't waste time. The skeleton divine generals had already flown out to search for strange fish. Lin Moyu felt that he truly wanted it all. Chapter 2386, 2386. Chapter 2386. Those bald monks are annoying and hypocritical. Shuiji Tianzun was drunk, genuinely drinking and enjoying the feeling of intoxication. From its words, Lin Moyu obtained a lot of useful information. This information allowed Lin Moyu to understand the structure of the Sea of Realms and pointed him in the right direction, making him no longer completely ignorant about it. His primary task now is still to collect the power of the origin to fully restore the Great World. Once the Great World is fully restored, the path to Tianzun will be opened. The second step is to cultivate himself to Tianzun, hoping to gain full recognition from the Great World and become the master of the world. Only then will he be qualified to explore broader realms. Only then can he change the fate of his 4 wives, who have been asleep for too long and should wake up. Lin Moyu waited for half a day, and Shuiji Tianzun finally sobered up a bit. Shuiji Tianzun murmured, the feeling of being drunk is really wonderful. Before he finished speaking, a roar suddenly came from afar, and a huge wave connected the sky and the earth. Lin Moyu's face changed slightly. A strong Tianzun aura emanated from the huge wave, and he saw countless strange fish tumbling in the wave, rolling towards them. Shuiji Tianzun instantly sobered up. Damn it, here they come again. Lin Moyu asked, what is that? Shuiji Tianzun replied, some guys are restless and always want to cause trouble. No worries, I'll handle it. Saying this, it flew towards the huge wave at lightning speed and appeared above the wave in an instant. Its body became infinitely large and let out a roar. Boom. The roar turned into a visible sound wave, stirring the space and twisting it into a knot. The huge wave also twisted into a knot and then exploded, with countless strange fish inside dying instantly and shattering into pieces. Lin Moyu felt the power, stronger than the Tianzun who came to the Great World. Shuiji Tianzun was much stronger than the Tianzun killed by Antares, not just by a little. The space where the Sea of Realms is located is completely different from the space of the Great World. It is impossible to easily shatter the spaces in the Great World. Lin Moyu had tested the strength of the space in the Sea of Realms, and even with his full strength, the space remained unaffected. In the previous battle with the Thorn Fish, the Divine Power Lich used the power of the Great Tao, and the final punch had reached the Tianzun realm, but still couldn't shake the space. Shuiji Tianzun's casual roar could twist the space, showing a huge gap between them. It seems that even among Tianzun, there is a huge difference in combat power. Lin Moyu thought to himself, staring unblinkingly into the distance. Seeing a battle between Tianzun was rare, and he didn't want to miss anything. The huge wave shattered, and a giant black shadow rushed out from it, wrapped in water, making it impossible to see its exact form. However, Lin Moyu could clearly feel that it was a real Tianzun, and a very strong one. Get back, Shuiji Tianzun casually raised a paw and slapped it down heavily. With one slap, the wind stopped, and the water ceased. All the water in the Sea of Realms retreated. The black shadow finally revealed its true form, a leopard emitting a watery glow. A leopard in the Sea of Realms. This sense of dislocation made Lin Moyu feel strange. If it had been a fish, a shrimp, or a water snake, he wouldn't have found it odd. But it was a leopard. The leopard roared, its roar traveling billions of miles and reaching Lin Moyu's ears. Lin Moyu's body shook violently, and the rules of the world were severely impacted. This roar carried a strong soul impact. Shut up, Shuiji Tianzun snorted coldly, exerting force with its paw and slapping the leopard. The leopard's fur stood on end, bursting with astonishing power, blocking Shuiji Tianzun's paw. But Shuiji Tianzun didn't care. How many slaps can you block? In the next second, paws rained down. The sky was filled with paw shadows, and Shuiji Tianzun didn't know how many slaps it delivered in an instant, thousands upon thousands. The leopard couldn't block many slaps and, with a wail, fell back into the Sea of Realms and disappeared. Lin Moyu could feel the leopard retreating quickly, beyond his sensing range in an instant. Shuiji Tianzun flew back, returning to its normal size, and took another sip of wine. Disturbing my drinking, deserves a beating. Lin Moyu tentatively asked, Senior, what was that leopard's origin? Shuiji Tianzun nonchalantly replied, a leopard from the demon race, also playing the world competition and failed. When it died, it merged with its world and fell into the Sea of Realms, becoming a wraith that occasionally comes out to cause trouble. Such things have no wisdom, just annoying. Lin Moyu caught the key point. What is the demon race? Shuiji Tianzun replied, a race. You are human, that was a demon. There are other races too, everything can cultivate, nothing strange. Lin Moyu tentatively asked, then what race are you, Senior? Shuiji Tianzun drank, sea race. Lin Moyu understood, the sea race is the race in the Sea of Realms. Is there also a Buddhist race? Shuiji Tianzun nodded, yes, those guys are particularly annoying, but they don't dare to come to the Sea of Realms. One comes, one dies. Lin Moyu felt relieved. If the Buddhist race couldn't come to the Sea of Realms, he would be safe there. But how did the Golden Lotus Buddha come over back then? No wonder it took so long, probably sneaking around. Describing it as sneaky is indeed accurate. Lin Moyu followed Shuiji Tianzun's words, those bald monks are indeed annoying, not only annoying but also hypocritical. Shuiji Tianzun said, yes, those bald monks are indeed both annoying and hypocritical. Lin Moyu seemed to have hit its sore spot, as Shuiji Tianzun cursed while drinking, showing a sense of shared hatred with Lin Moyu. After cursing a few times, Shuiji Tianzun suddenly asked, how do you know about the Buddhist race? Lin Moyu recounted the events related to the Buddhist race in the Great World, and Shuiji Tianzun sneered, the Buddhist race has grown bold, daring to interfere in the world competition, wanting the origin but not to this extent. Could it be that they have lost power there? Where is there? Lin Moyu didn't ask further. He knew that if he asked, Shuiji Tianzun wouldn't say, and it might even damage the relationship they had built. He changed the topic and asked, Senior, what would that leopard do if you didn't stop it? Shuiji Tianzun replied, it would destroy all the worlds in this sea area. Like the world you are in, it can't stop it, even if there is a Tianzun in the world. Lin Moyu had no doubt about Shuiji Tianzun's words. He now understood that the Tianzun in the Great World and the Tianzun in the Sea of Realms were fundamentally different. Of course, the premise is that the other party doesn't enter the Great World. Once they enter, it's not up to them. Lin Moyu joked, then many worlds here should thank you for your protection, Senior. Shuiji Tianzun shook its head, no need, this is my territory, such things are not allowed. Of course, I don't know about other areas, each area's manager has a different temperament. Alright, I should go now. This wine is good, bring some more next time. Saying this, it threw a pearl to Lin Moyu, clearly indicating to call it when there was wine. The 10,000 caddies of wine brought this time had already been drunk by 1/5, and the rest probably wouldn't last a few days. Lin Moyu took the pearl, I'll definitely bring more wine next time, Senior. He still had plenty of wine, but he couldn't give it all at once. He had to give it bit by bit, building the relationship gradually. Chapter 2387, 2387. Chapter 2387. Seeing higher and more beautiful scenery, Shuiji Tianzun left, feeling satisfied. Lin Moyu was equally satisfied. He felt that the information gained in exchange for the 10,000 caddies of wine far exceeded the value of the wine itself. He dove into the Sea of Realms, quickly sinking to a depth of 10,000 meters, and began hunting fish schools. At the same time, his mind had already organized the structure of the Sea of Realms, as well as the layout beyond it. Combined with the treasures previously brought out by the purple-robed Tianzun in his past life, Lin Moyu felt that this world was unimaginably vast. The demon race, sea race, human race, Buddhist race, and some other races he didn't know about. These races competed in the same world, pursuing the great Tao. He felt his vision had become broader. Looking back at the great world now, its small plot of land indeed seemed insufficient. The former Tianzun, from his current perspective, were truly like frogs in a well. He wondered if they were still alive, and if so, how they were faring. Strange fish were attracted in groups, and Lin Moyu skillfully hunted them. In the eternal Buddhist kingdom of the Buddhist Lich, followers were increasing. However, the number of resurrected army members didn't increase much. Lin Moyu was now taking a quality over quantity approach. Those not strong enough were unworthy of joining his resurrected army. The previous 36 thornfish had all joined the resurrected army. In the Sea of Realms, thornfish were even more useful than skeleton kings. Lin Moyu's hunting had become second nature. He knew that the range of influence of each bloody scent was limited, and could only attract a limited number of fish schools. He began actively leaving bloody scents in various locations, initiating multiple points of attack and hunting simultaneously, greatly improving efficiency. Although Shuiji Tianzun had left, it was still secretly observing everything in its territory. Lin Moyu's actions were all seen by it. This little fellow is quite intriguing. A low-level supreme with combat power surpassing peak supremes. I can even sense a hint of threat from him. He must have more trump cards, enough to threaten me. Should I report this to the king? After careful consideration, Shuiji Tianzun shook its head. Forget it, it's better to mind my own business. There are too many special things in the world, how can one manage them all? Moreover, in a few years, this world will enter someone else's territory. Let them worry about it. The competition between worlds was never this old turtle's game. Why bother? Shuiji Tianzun ultimately decided to just enjoy its wine and not meddle in affairs. Lin Moyu stayed in the Sea of Realms for another 100 days this time, which equated to 2,700 years passing in the Great World. Lin Moyu returned to the Great World's rune location again, throwing all the origin crystals he brought back to the Great World rune. This harvest was more than the last time, and the Great World's origin recovered about another 10%, reaching 80%. With just 20% more, the Great World would be restored to its peak state. Compared to his previous efforts of running around to repair the Great World's origin, this time was truly much easier. The Great World rune once again gave Lin Moyu some rewards. His origin power increased a bit, and the rune's recognition of him also improved somewhat. Lin Moyu felt that by the time the Great World rune was truly repaired, he would be close to stepping into the mid-level Supreme Realm. After reaching the Supreme Realm, cultivation mainly focused on origin power. The laws that needed to be comprehended had already been comprehended, and those that needed to be mastered had basically been mastered. To become a Tianzun, one still needed to understand the power of virtual and real. Lin Moyu had already comprehended this early on. Now he only needed enough origin power to advance. Because he became a supreme in the Great World, he needed the Great World's origin power. Other origin powers couldn't increase his realm, they could only be fused with techniques to enhance their power. Only the Great World's origin power could truly increase his realm. Now Lin Moyu knew that the realms in the Great World were truly effective, but the laws comprehended would lose effect upon leaving the Great World. Whether Tianzun or Supreme, after leaving the Great World, to gain strong power again, one needed to recomprehend the laws of the Sea of Realms. This step was not easy. The previously comprehended laws were already engraved in the soul, deeply rooted and not easily changed. It's like being told since childhood that 1 + 1 = 2, and doing so for thousands or tens of thousands of years. Suddenly one day, someone tells you that 1 + 1 actually doesn't equal 2, and yet that person is correct. You want to change, but the past memories, the things engraved in your soul, are too difficult to change. According to Lin Moyu's understanding, the Tao heart would be damaged, thus affecting one's foundation. If not careful, even the real world might collapse. Lin Moyu knew that after the Great World's origin was fully repaired, he would also need to comprehend the laws of the Sea of Realms. and then fuse the laws of the Sea of Realms with those of the Great World. He had a feeling that the laws of the Sea of Realms and the Great World were related, and very closely so. It seems I need to fuse the laws of both worlds completely. I wonder how effective the runes are in the Sea of Realms. I've been there twice but forgot to test this. Next time I go, I should try it out. This time upon returning, no new Supremes had been born in the Great World. However, Lin Moyu sensed that someone had come to the divine path again, but hadn't succeeded. He sensed briefly and knew who had come. War Saint and Sword Saint had reached the half-step Supreme Realm and tried to walk the divine path. But they didn't complete it and failed. Lin Moyu hadn't lowered the difficulty of the divine path. The current difficulty was already not high, lowering it further wouldn't benefit them. At least now, Lin Moyu still retained a tiny possibility for them to advance further. If the difficulty was too low, after they became Supremes, they would truly be unable to progress. Suddenly, Lin Moyu had a feeling of controlling all living beings. He felt as if he was the supreme existence in the Great World, holding the future of numerous living beings in his hands. As long as he wished, he could easily turn a half-step Supreme into a Supreme. He could also make a half-step Supreme with excellent talent stop advancing forever. This ability to control everything was intoxicating. Lin Moyu chuckled lightly. The ability to take from and give to all living beings is indeed intoxicating, but this is not what I want. My Tao heart only seeks to become stronger. As long as I am strong enough, everything else is just an accessory. Controlling everything in the Great World, this temptation is useless to me. The stage of the Great World is too small, not big enough. Lin Moyu completely erased this newly arising feeling. It was a temptation brought by the Great World's origin. Once he indulged in this temptation, he would lose the motivation to advance. The strength in the Great World was not true strength. After witnessing Antares and Shuiji Tianzun, he truly understood what it meant for there to be a higher sky beyond the sky. Now his goal had already surpassed the scope of the Great World. In the Rule World, Yu Qingru and Yu Zhu had just finished a short period of cultivation. Their cultivation rhythm had been disrupted by Lin Moyu, and they generally didn't go into long periods of seclusion. Lin Moyu provided them with the highest quality fish meat, so their cultivation speed was not slow. It's just that because they were brought to the Sea of Realms, only 200 days had passed. If they had stayed in the Great World, they might have already become Saint Supremes by now. However, they were now only one step away from the other shore realm. Yu Zhu brewed tea and invited Lin Moyu over to drink. Yu Qingru sensed something unusual about Lin Moyu's expression. Did something happen? Lin Moyu said, I have an idea that I want to discuss with you. The two pricked up their ears, listening attentively. Lin Moyu said, I want you to try comprehending the laws of the Sea of Realms before advancing to the other shore realm. Chapter 2388, 2388. Chapter 2388. Comprehending the laws in the Sea of Realms. The ideal state is to integrate the laws of the Great World with those of the Sea of Realms. However, this is very difficult, and even Lin Moyu himself is not confident he can achieve it. But now, Yu Zhu and Yu Qingru have not yet reached the other shore realm, so their plasticity is still very strong, and the possibility of integration is the highest. Even if it means wasting a bit more time and entering the other shore realm later, it is worth it. He knew his idea was correct, and the best example was Lin Mohan. Lin Mohan's Sword of World Destruction obviously did not belong to the Great World, while the Sword of Heaven and Earth contained the pure sword law of the Great World. The combination of the two greatly enhanced their power. Yu Zhu and Yu Qingru both gladly accepted Lin Moyu's idea. They unconditionally trusted Lin Moyu without any hesitation. This time, Lin Moyu did not stay long in the Great World. After the Great World rune absorbed all the origin, Lin Moyu left the Sea of Realms again. Based on the previous efficiency, another 2 or 3 times would be enough to fully restore the Great World's origin. In the Sea of Realms, the Great World was still floating there. Above the Great World, a flat land had appeared. Lin Moyu created a small place for the two to cultivate. 50 skeleton kings guarded them closely to prevent any accidents. After all, this is the Sea of Realms, and it is not safe. He then entered the Sea of Realms to continue what he had done before, hunting fish schools and harvesting origin crystals. Time passed day by day, and in the blink of an eye, another 100 days had passed, equivalent to 2,700 years in the Great World. Lin Moyu had returned a few times. Seeing Yu Zhu and Yu Qingru cultivating, he did not disturb them nor did he return to the Great World, but continued to hunt fish. After more than 200 days, Lin Moyu finally gathered all the origin crystals needed to restore the Great World. During this time, he had killed countless strange fish. The eternal Buddhist kingdom of the Buddhist Lich had a full seat of 10 million followers. He encountered thornfish several times, but with the resurrected army, he directly used the resurrected thornfish to deal with them. The effect was very good, solving the thornfish at a very small cost. The killed thornfish also became members of the resurrected army, and now the number of thornfish in the resurrected army exceeded 100. Even the former purple-robed Tianzun would probably turn and run if he encountered a school of 100 thornfish in the Sea of Realms. Back then, Tianlong was injured dealing with just 18 thornfish. Tianlong's combat power was higher than that of the purple-robed Tianzun. After more than 200 days, Yuzhu and Yu Qingru woke up from their cultivation simultaneously. Lin Moyu smiled and asked, "Did you gain anything?" Comprehending the laws is not something that can be done overnight, and 200 days is really nothing. However, their answers surprised Lin Moyu. Yu Qingru said, "I sensed some space laws, different from the space laws in my bloodline but somewhat similar. I think I can comprehend them." Yuzhu showed some confusion. "I felt a special law, different from the laws I cultivated in the Great World. But I think this law suits me better." Lin Moyu was a bit surprised. He had just asked casually, not expecting both of them to have gains. Although their talents were good, they didn't seem to be this good. Especially Yuzhu, who had previously cultivated a rare wood law in the Great World. The power of the wood law was not great, but it was relatively easy to cultivate. Lin Moyu was not sure if this law existed outside the Great World. But he thought that the wood law must exist. Now Yuzhu had comprehended a completely new law, and it was not the wood law, which surprised Lin Moyu. But when he asked Yuzhu, she couldn't explain what this law was. It was just an initial contact, far from understanding it. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry and took the two back to the Great World first. This time, he was going to completely restore the Great World. This time he had been away from the Great World for more than 6,000 years, and many new resources had evolved in the Great World. Outside the human star domain, many new lights appeared. Each light represented a star. As the Great World's origin recovered, the speed of resource evolution also accelerated. As soon as he returned to the Great World, Lin Moyu connected with the Divine Path. Someone is walking the Divine Path. Several people stood near the Divine Path, their eyes fixed on it. Heavenly Supreme, how supreme were there? In addition, there were Sword Supreme and War Supreme. They had also successfully walked the Divine Path thousands of years ago and achieved supreme status. This only Divine Path had become the most important place for humans, and even a Saint Supreme usually had no right to come here. Lin Moyu silently appeared not far away, also watching the Divine Path. On the Divine Path, someone was climbing step by step. She was not walking fast, but very steadily. Lin Moyu smiled and called out Yuzhu and Yu Qingru. At the same time, he used origin power to envelop them, allowing them to see the Divine Path. Yu Qingru was slightly stunned when she saw the person on the Divine Path. Is that Luotian? Yu Qingru had always regarded Luotian as an idol and recognized her at a glance. Lin Moyu smiled, "Yes, it's Luotian. You always wanted to see her alive, now you can." Yu Qingru smiled, "Thank you, husband." Yuzhu also said, "So she is Luotian, she is really beautiful." Lin Moyu laughed, "Not as beautiful as you." Yuzhu blushed slightly. Even after being together for many years, she still felt overjoyed when Lin Moyu praised her. Yu Qingru suddenly sighed, "The most beautiful one is still Sister Han." Yuzhu immediately agreed, "Indeed, Sister Han is the most beautiful." Lin Moyu did not comment. Lin Mohan was indeed beautiful, with a beauty and temperament that were hard to describe in words. But the only flaw was her terrible temper. Forcing him to have children all day long, what kind of thing is that? Luotian had walked more than half of the Divine Path, her speed gradually slowing down, each step taking some time. Only she knew what she was experiencing. Yu Qingru asked, "Can Luotian make it?" Lin Moyu smiled, "Do you want her to make it?" Yu Qingru thought for a moment, "I hope so. I have been away from the clan for a long time, and my generation of clan members is probably gone. I don't know what the clan is like now. If Luotian can make it, at least someone will be there to hold the fort. Our clan is very sensitive because we know we are weak and fear disaster might strike us one day." Yu Qingru's worry was not unfounded. Even now, she was still worried that one day humans might attack the Starry Sky Fish clan. Lin Moyu knew she was worrying too much. The Starry Skyfish clan was created by a human Tianzun and was actually a subsidiary of the human race. Humans generally would not attack the Starry Skyfish clan as there was no conflict of interest between them. But the Starry Skyfish clan did not think so. Lin Moyu said, "If that's the case, let's help her make it." Yu Qingru smiled, "Thank you, husband." Such a small request from Yu Qingru was naturally something Lin Moyu could fulfill. If Luotian was struggling, he could lower the difficulty to let her pass. Or let her try a few more times, it was all possible. Luotian climbed step by step, her expression solemn. Although the resistance was great, she did not give up. The foundation of cultivators in the great world was still too weak. If it were in ancient times, the difficulty of this divine path would be negligible. Lin Moyu observed carefully and found that Luotian still had some strength left. Chapter 2389, 2389. Chapter 2389. Accommodating a million Supremes. Lin Moyu flew over with the two women and said loudly, "Congratulations to Sword Supreme and War Supreme." It wasn't until Lin Moyu spoke that the Supremes noticed him. How Supreme and Tien Supreme were already aware of Lin Moyu's strength and were not surprised. Sword Supreme and War Supreme, however, were startled by Lin Moyu's sudden appearance. Sword Supreme's eyes showed shock. "I thought that after becoming a Supreme, I could compete with you. But now it seems, I'm still far behind." War Supreme sighed and cupped his fists towards Lin Moyu. "Greetings, Lin Supreme." Among the Supremes, these two were the most battle-hungry, always eager to compete with others. They thought that after becoming Supremes, they could finally spar with Lin Moyu. Even if they were still not as good as Lin Moyu, the gap wouldn't be too large. But now, Lin Moyu had approached without them even sensing it. This clearly indicated the disparity between them. How Supreme smiled and said, "You two should just compete with us. Don't go looking for trouble." Tien Supreme also laughed, "Exactly, even if we joined forces, we wouldn't be a match for Lin Supreme. Compete with us instead." Lin Moyu didn't respond to their teasing. "Why is Luotian walking the divine path?" Tien Supreme replied, "The Starry Skyfish clan requested it. Their current generation seems to have issues, with weak bloodlines and only one remaining Saint Supreme. They hope Luotian can walk the divine path and hold the fort for the Fish clan. The weakness of the Starry Skyfish clan was their short lifespan and unstable bloodlines, an inherent flaw. One could say it was due to the Space Tianzun's insufficient abilities. There was a solution, though, as evidenced by Luotian. If they could intermarry with the human race, their offspring would resolve most of these inherent issues. But they stubbornly clung to their bloodline purity and never intermarried with other races, leading to their current predicament. Fortunately, the great world was now at peace, so it didn't matter much. How Supreme asked, "Can Luotian make it?" Lin Moyu nodded, "She can." Luotian had only a short distance left, and passing it wouldn't be a problem. As Lin Moyu predicted, half a day later, Luotian successfully walked the divine path and was recognized by the Great World's Origin, achieving Supreme status. The Great World's Origin sent out a congratulatory message, announcing it to the entire realm. Everyone above the other shore realm could sense it. Luotian flew down from the divine path and saw Lin Moyu. Her eyes showed a hint of curiosity. "Long time no see, little friend." The last time she saw Lin Moyu was 10,000 years ago when he was still very weak and lost in the outer realms. Without her help, Lin Moyu wouldn't have known how long it would take to return to the inner realms. But now, Lin Moyu had become a Supreme, and his aura was even stronger than hers. Lin Moyu smiled, "Long time no see. Congratulations on becoming a Supreme, Luotian." Luotian returned the greeting with a smile. Then she noticed Yu Qingru and showed surprise. "This sister is also from the Fish clan, but I haven't seen her before." Yu Qingru quickly saluted Luotian. "Yu Qingru greets ancestor Luotian." Lin Moyu laughed, "Qingru is now my wife." Luotian's beautiful eyes sparkled, "So you are Qingru. There are stories about you in the clan." Yu Qingru was visibly excited to meet her idol. Lin Moyu said, "You two chat. I'll go to the Great World's Origin." Under Luotian's surprised gaze, Lin Moyu disappeared into the starry sky. He entered another dimension and arrived before the Great World's rune. Luotian's eyes flickered. Even she couldn't cross into the Great World's Origin. This showed how powerful Lin Moyu had become. The once small figure had now reached a level she couldn't hope to attain. Yu Qingru, meeting her idol, suddenly said, "Ancestor Luotian, I grew up listening to your stories." At the Great World's Origin, Lin Moyu took out a pile of origin crystals. This was the harvest of over 200 days, 402 first-tier origins, 155 second-tier origins, and 18 third-tier origins. Based on past experience, these origin crystals were enough to fully restore the Great World's origin. The Great World's origin didn't hold back, immediately transforming runes and refining the origin crystals. It refined the impurities, keeping only the essence. The Great World's rune trembled continuously, seemingly aware that it was about to be fully restored. Lin Moyu could feel the Great World's rune rapidly increasing its recognition of him. The replica rune in his rule world seemed to grow stronger. His connection with the Great World's rune was also strengthening. Finally, the Great World's rune finished refining and absorbing all the origin crystals, emitting brilliant rays of light. The entire Great World began to shake, its space becoming more stable, and the speed of resource evolution greatly accelerated. Streams of light like colorful clouds filled the Great World. The Great World seemed to be announcing to everyone that it was fully restored. Lin Moyu could clearly feel the joy from the world's will. "Congratulations, you are finally fully restored," Lin Moyu said softly. Suddenly, a stream of origin power shot out from the Great World's rune. Lin Moyu felt like he was soaking in a hot spring, enveloped in origin power, feeling incredibly comfortable. At this moment, he felt a sense of homecoming, warm and reassuring. The origin power seeped into his limbs and bones, and waves of strength surged from within. His physical body grew stronger under the origin's embrace. More origin power flowed into his rule world, and Lin Moyu felt his soul realm and rule world both improving. His realm also began advancing towards mid-level supreme. Origin power is the most mystical force, and the Great World's origin is as high as the 6th tier. In the Sea of Realms, it is difficult to obtain origin power above the 3rd tier, and the strength of 6th tier origin is unimaginable. Because of everything Lin Moyu had done for the Great World, and now that the Great World's origin was fully restored and abundant, it granted Lin Moyu far more origin power than an ordinary supreme. Even the former Tianzun probably didn't receive much more origin power than Lin Moyu. In just half a day, Lin Moyu's realm firmly stood at mid-level supreme. Lin Moyu remained calm, as these changes were exactly as he had anticipated. For Lin Moyu, the realm improvement was secondary. He found that his connection with the Great World had become even closer, and he had gained many new authorities. For example, he could influence the resource evolution in different parts of the starry sky, modify certain areas, and know what materials were present where. These were all powers granted by the Great World's origin. The difference between 60% restoration and full restoration is indeed vast. At 60% restoration, the Great World could only avoid collapse and support 10 supremes. As for Tianzun, that was out of the question. Now, with full restoration, the Great World can accommodate 1,000,000 supremes and 10 Tianzuns. Resource regeneration and evolution are at least 100 times faster than before. Rare resources that had disappeared will gradually reappear. The fully restored Great World can continuously absorb power from the Sea of Realms, strengthening itself. It can keep expanding and growing stronger. This is the true face of the Great World. What a pity, such a good world was ruined by you guys. Now the Great World fully recognized him, with the only issue being his realm. When his realm reaches Tianzun, he might become the master of the Great World. Lin Moyu was fully confident in reaching Tianzun. Having comprehended the power of virtual and real, his path to Tianzun was already clear. Now he just needed to fully digest and absorb the origin power and integrate it into his rule world. Then, by obtaining more origin power from the Great World, his realm would naturally improve, but before that, Lin Moyu had other matters to attend to. Previously, it was for you. Next, it's for myself. Lin Moyu smiled slightly, left the Great World's origin, and returned to reality. Chapter 2390, 2390. Chapter 2390, You'd better mind your own business. As soon as he emerged, House Supreme eagerly asked, Lin Supreme, has the origin been fully restored? Lin Moyu nodded, completely restored. The faces of the Supremes lit up with joy. Being able to witness the restoration of the Great World made their lives worthwhile. The Great World was finally restored, and their paths were also clear. No matter where they ultimately ended up, at least their descendants could continue to climb higher. House Supreme said, the Great World has been restored. Lin Supreme, are you going to strive for Tianzun next? Lin Moyu shook his head, there's no rush for that. Before he could finish speaking, the Great World suddenly rumbled and shook. Lin Moyu immediately sensed that someone was attacking the Great World from outside. At the same time, the pearl given to him by Shuiji Tianzun suddenly lit up, and Shuiji Tianzun's voice sounded from within, "Come out." The words were urgent, and Lin Moyu instantly realized something was wrong. Lin Moyu quickly said, "There might be an issue with the great world. I'll go check it out." With that, he opened a spatial door and disappeared without a trace. The Supremes looked at each other, not knowing what had happened. They could only feel a slight spatial tremor and couldn't sense the great world being attacked as clearly as Lin Moyu. However, Lin Moyu's hasty departure indicated that something significant had occurred. Lin Moyu was always calm, and such an expression was rare. Seeing the Supremes' concern, Yuzhu softly said, "No need to worry, seniors. My husband will handle it." Hao Supreme thought for a moment and nodded, "Worrying is useless. If even Lin Supreme can't handle it, there's nothing we can do." Tian Supreme sighed, "Indeed, we are powerless. They didn't even know what the issue was, so they couldn't help even if they wanted to." Lin Moyu arrived at the edge of the world at the fastest speed and rushed out of the Great World. Outside the Great World, he immediately saw Shuiji Tianzun. Following Shuiji Tianzun's gaze, he saw 3 robed individuals, all Tianzuns. They stood in midair, glaring at him. It seemed that because of Shuiji Tianzun's presence, they hadn't acted immediately. Lin Moyu believed that if Shuiji Tianzun weren't there, these 3 would have already attacked. Seeing their attire, Lin Moyu instantly knew who they were. They were with the purple-robed Tianzun. Although he understood, he pretended not to know. "Senior Shuiji, what's going on?" Shuiji Tianzun stared at the 3 Tianzuns above. "They are Tianzuns from the Luozong sect, here looking for someone." As he spoke, Shuiji Tianzun glanced at Lin Moyu with a meaningful look. Lin Moyu immediately understood and feigned ignorance. "Who are they looking for?" Shuiji Tianzun said, "They mentioned someone called the purple-robed Tianzun. Have you heard of him?" Lin Moyu shook his head, "I'm just a Supreme. How could I have met a Tianzun?" He and Shuiji Tianzun began to act, cooperating seamlessly. However, Shuiji Tianzun's behavior puzzled Lin Moyu. Shuiji Tianzun had always been assertive, so why was he so accommodating today? Could it be that the Luozong sect was not to be trifled with? Thinking it over, that seemed to be the only explanation. The leading Tianzun above said, "You are the manager of this sea area. How could you not know?" Shuiji Tianzun snorted, "I'm not watching all the time. Isn't it normal not to see? Do you think this old turtle is a Taoist who knows everything? There are so many worlds in the Sea of Realms. Who knows where your purple-robed Tianzun went?" Shuiji Tianzun firmly denied any knowledge, and Lin Moyu naturally wouldn't admit anything either. The leading Tianzun's eyes showed impatience. "It's not just the purple-robed junior brother. We have 4 other junior brothers who also mysteriously disappeared in this sea area. You must give us an explanation." Shuiji Tianzun angrily retorted, "Explain what? Just because you say they're here, they're here. Do you think this old turtle is easy to bully, or that our sea race is easy to bully?" Shuiji Tianzun spoke righteously, but to Lin Moyu, it seemed somewhat hollow. There were 2 possible reasons. Either the Luozong sect was indeed formidable, or one of these 3 was stronger than Shuiji Tianzun. However, Shuiji Tianzun's assertiveness did have some effect. The 3 from the Luozong sect seemed hesitant. Lin Moyu knew it wasn't Shuiji Tianzun making them hesitate, but rather the sea race. They were likely weighing the pros and cons, considering whether it was worth it. This also indicated that they had no concrete evidence linking the purple-robed Tianzun's disappearance to him. As a Supreme, Lin Moyu couldn't show too much at this moment and could only watch the situation unfold. Suddenly, he heard Shuiji Tianzun's voice in his soul. "Among these 3, the leader is the strongest, but slightly weaker than this old turtle." Lin Moyu immediately understood Shuiji Tianzun's meaning. It could handle the leader, but if the other 2 joined in, it would be troublesome to keep them all here. Lin Moyu also transmitted, "Leave the other 2 to me." Shuiji Tianzun's eyes brightened, "You really have a trump card." Lin Moyu replied, "For survival." Shuiji Tianzun said, "Count to 3, and we'll act together. 3, 2, 1, go." Shuiji Tianzun suddenly soared into the sky, its body enlarging rapidly. Its claws came down like a storm, enveloping all 3 Tianzuns. The 3 Tianzuns were furious, not expecting Shuiji Tianzun to strike first. Courting death, the 3 roared in unison, each taking out a magical treasure to counterattack. Buddhist chants echoed as the Buddhist lich and divine power lich appeared beside Lin Moyu. At the same time, 2 drops of ancestral water flew out, landing on the Buddhist lich and divine power lich. In an instant, the 2 liches' auras surged, reaching the peak of supreme power. The Buddhist lich locked onto one Tianzun and charged like lightning. The divine power lich also moved, the power of the great Tao of strength erupting, its strength reaching its limit as it joined the attack on another Tianzun. A seemingly ordinary punch carried unimaginable power. The 2 targeted Tianzuns roared, courting death. To them, Lin Moyu was just a small supreme from the Sea of Realms, an ant-like existence daring to attack them. They didn't take Lin Moyu's attack seriously, casually countering before turning to face Shuiji Tianzun. In the eternal Buddhist kingdom, 1,000,000 followers simultaneously sacrificed, boosting the Buddhist lich's power. One punch shattered the counterattack, and the Buddhist lich reached the Tianzun, unleashing countless punches. The divine power lich, surrounded by the great Tao of strength, also shattered the Tianzun's counterattack and reached its target, delivering a punch that broke all laws. This punch shattered rules and souls, breaking anything with enough strength. Both liches' powers had reached the Tianzun realm. Be careful. The leading Tianzun from the Luozong sect roared, warning his 2 companions. The other 2 Tianzuns reacted, but it was too late. Shuiji Tianzun laughed heartily, "You'd better mind your own business." Its attack range suddenly narrowed, focusing all its power on the leading Tianzun, making the attack even more formidable. The sky above the Sea of Realms exploded, and a 100,000-meter wave surged into the clouds. Chapter 2391, 2391. Chapter 2391. The 7-colored sect in the Luozi sect screams echoed as 2 Tianzuns were flung away like trash. Their bodies twisted in strange positions, severely injured. Although the physical body is not crucial for Tianzuns, the pain of such injuries is still unbearable. The Buddhist lich and divine power lich would not stop after one strike unless Lin Moyu issued new orders. They would continue attacking until the enemy was dead. The divine power lich quickly caught up, not giving the opponent any chance to breathe, and launched a second punch. With the power of the great Tao of strength, the second punch was 100 times stronger. Because they were not in the great world and lacked the power of belief, this punch did not manifest the true form of the great Tao. But this punch was still 10 times stronger than the previous one. The Tianzun had no time to react and was blasted away again with a scream. Blood spurted, and Tianzun's blood turned into a mist in the air. The Buddhist lich did not pursue directly. In the eternal Buddhist kingdom, another 1,000,000 followers sacrificed themselves, and a hazy great Tao appeared around the Buddhist lich. The great Tao of fate manifested for the first time. The Buddhist lich locked onto the Tianzun, found his mark in the great Tao of fate, and punched out. The great Tao of fate surged, and a peculiar force landed on the Tianzun. It did not affect his physical form but his existence within the great Tao of fate. The punch obliterated his mark in the great Tao of fate. Consequently, in reality, the Tianzun's body turned to smoke and dissipated. His soul entered the eternal Buddhist kingdom, becoming a follower. This Tianzun follower was clearly different from the others. He was several times larger, resembling a small Buddha statue. The power this Tianzun follower could provide far exceeded that of a supreme follower. Lin Moyu realized that followers also had different levels. It seems that no matter where, there are always distinctions. The great Tao of fate can erase someone's existence from fate. Once fate is lost, they cease to exist in reality. This kind of attack is indeed terrifying. Lin Moyu's heart was clear. The true horror of the Buddhist lich was now fully revealed. A great Tao appeared in the sky, dispersing the thick clouds and allowing countless rays of sunlight to shoot through, only to be swallowed by the great Tao. A giant appeared in the sky. The divine power lich's third punch, amplified 1,000 times, finally triggered the true form of the great Tao. The giant's punch shattered the Tianzun being pursued by the divine power lich, his body disintegrating, and his soul annihilated on the spot. Lin Moyu quickly collected some fragments of flesh. Luckily, nothing was wasted. Lin Moyu suddenly thought of something. They are from the Luozi sect. I can turn them into resurrected beings to learn about the Luozi sect. A resurrected Tianzun is only one major realm higher than me. It should work. Lin Moyu had a plan. He looked at Shuiji Tianzun. Shuiji Tianzun was indeed stronger, continuously suppressing the opponent. The opponent was extremely frustrated, trying to break free several times, only to be blocked by Shuiji Tianzun. At this point, neither Shuiji Tianzun nor Lin Moyu could let him go. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and the Buddhist lich instantly locked onto the opponent. Another million followers sacrificed themselves, and the great Tao of Fate appeared again. The Buddhist lich punched towards the great Tao of Fate, and the opponent's body suddenly glowed with a brilliant light, accompanied by a scream. Not dead. Lin Moyu was slightly surprised. The opponent had blocked the Buddhist lich's punch. This punch could erase his mark in the great Tao of Fate, yet it was blocked. The Tianzun's body glowed with purple light, and a treasure robe appeared, blocking the Buddhist lich's fate attack. Although it was blocked, it wasn't completely nullified, and he was still injured. Shuiji Tianzun seized the opportunity and launched a frenzied attack. Within minutes, accompanied by a scream, the opponent finally died at Shuiji Tianzun's hands. Shuiji Tianzun disdainfully threw the corpse to Lin Moyu, "A bunch of trash, daring to threaten me, courting death." Lin Moyu couldn't help but laugh. "You weren't like this just now." Lin Moyu asked, "Is the Luozi sect a sect?" Shuiji Tianzun glanced at Lin Moyu, "Don't play dumb with me, brat." Quote. Before he could finish, a large wine jar appeared in front of him. The jar had no lid, and the rich aroma of wine mixed with the essence of origin wafted out, stopping Shuiji Tianzun mid-sentence. This jar of wine was even better than the last one, aged 10,000 years. Shuiji Tianzun's eyes sparkled, and he couldn't resist taking a big gulp. "Considering you're so sensible, I'll let it go this time." Old Turtle is concerned about the sect behind the Luozi sect, the Seven-Colored Sect. The Seven-Colored Sect has 7 branches, and the Luozi sect is just one of them. The Seven-Colored Sect has a Taoist master. Shuiji Tianzun, having taken a bribe, changed his tune. Lin Moyu understood immediately. Shuiji Tianzun was wary of the Taoist master of the Seven-Colored Sect. Lin Moyu asked, "But doesn't the Sea of Realms have its own rules?" Shuiji Tianzun replied, "Yes, so I'll report this to the king. How the king handles it is not my concern. But it's unusual for the Luozi sect to come so aggressively this time. Normally, they wouldn't act like this. Anyway, it's not my problem. But you, brat, have some impressive life-saving techniques." Lin Moyu smiled, "I have too. The Sea of Realms is too dangerous. Without some tricks, I wouldn't dare to come." Shuiji Tianzun nodded, "That's true. You've been quite at home in the Sea of Realms lately. Your 2 techniques are impressive. One can trigger the true form of the Great Tao, and that punch's power is close to mid-level Tianzun. The other can attack directly within the Great Tao of Fate. Though its attack power isn't as strong as the true form of the Great Tao, it kills invisibly and is hard to defend against. But both techniques have limitations. One can only deliver one punch. If the opponent has mid-level Tianzun strength or a corresponding defensive treasure, the technique is useless. The other is the same. Like that trash just now, with a treasure robe, he could block your attack. The key issue is that you're too weak. If a Tianzun targets you, you're done for." Shuiji Tianzun easily pointed out the flaws in Lin Moyu's techniques. Lin Moyu humbly accepted, "Thank you for the guidance, senior. I will strive to improve and achieve Tianzun status as soon as possible." Shuiji Tianzun said, "Your attitude is not bad. I'll go report this to the king and come back to find you later." With that, Shuiji Tianzun jumped into the Sea of Realms and quickly disappeared. Lin Moyu's eyes were complex. After pondering for a few seconds, he took the Tianzun's corpse back to the Great World. The battle with Shuiji Tianzun seemed to have established some trust between them. Before Shuiji Tianzun returned, Lin Moyu had some matters to attend to. He summoned a ball of undying flame and placed it on the Tianzun's corpse. Origin level technique, resurrection of the dead. The shattered Tianzun's body quickly began to regenerate, and the annihilated soul started to reorganize. Every time he used resurrection of the dead, Lin Moyu felt a sense of wonder. He could sense the technique's extraordinary nature but couldn't trace its origin. However, he was certain that this technique did not belong to the Great World. Chapter 2392, 2392. Chapter 2392. The Origin Continent, Southern Continent human race. The Tianzun from the Luozi sect was reborn in the flames and then slowly knelt before Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu frowned. The other party's actions were somewhat hesitant, but there was no outright resistance. This was somewhat conflicting with the resurrection of the dead technique. Resurrection of the dead should work as long as the target is not more than 2 major realms above the caster. Now that he was a mid-level supreme and the other party was a mid-level Tianzun, there should only be 1 major realm difference, so this shouldn't be happening. The realm calculation in the Great World and the Sea of Realms is the same, so there shouldn't be any mistakes. So what factors are affecting the technique? Lin Moyu couldn't figure it out for a moment. Looking at the Tianzun kneeling before him, he thought he might find some answers from him. Lin Moyu asked, "Are you from the Luozi sect? What's your name?" Although there was a slight resistance, the Tianzun eventually became a resurrected being, and the technique fully controlled him. "My name is Kei Jun, an elder of the Luozi sect, ranked 11th. Lin Moyu responded, "So, there are 10 elders above you. How are your rankings determined?" Kei Jun answered honestly, "By strength. So, the top 10 elders of the Luozi sect are all stronger than him. Not by realm, but by strength, which seemed to reflect some characteristics of this world. The principle that might makes right holds true everywhere." Lin Moyu also sensed that this world was not peaceful. Lin Moyu continued to ask, "Who is the strongest in the Luozi sect, and what is their realm?" "The strongest is the sect master, a peak Tianzun. How many Tianzun elders are there in total?" 31 in total. Lin Moyu's brows furrowed tightly. 31 Tianzuns. Even though he had killed 8, there were still 23 left. Adding the peak Tianzun sect master, the Luozi sect's combat power was indeed formidable. However, Lin Moyu was curious. With so many Tianzuns, why did they make such a fuss over a low-level purple-robed Tianzun? Who were you looking for this time? The purple-robed elder and the 4 elders protecting him. Lin Moyu detected something unusual and immediately asked, "What is the identity of this purple-robed elder you mentioned?" Kei Jun answered truthfully, "He is the sect master's son." Lin Moyu realized he had gotten himself into trouble. No wonder a Tianzun-level expert had 4 other Tianzuns secretly protecting him. He also understood why Kei Jun and the other 2 were so aggressive. It seemed the sect master of the Luozi sect had given the order. Lin Moyu asked, "What order did your sect master give?" Kei Jun replied, "Alive, we want to see the person; dead, we want to see the corpse." "Well, that's impossible. The purple-robed Tianzun's body had already been used by him to blow up the Golden Lotus Buddha. There was no way to retrieve it now. Otherwise, he could have turned him into a resurrected being to fool them." Lin Moyu understood their intentions. Next, he could ask some other questions. Although Shuiji Tianzun had lived a long time, there were some things he couldn't say due to the rules. Kei Jun, however, was different. He was now in a state where he would answer any question. "Explain what the world competition means. Why do you have to compete in the world competition? What is the name of your place, and what is its structure?" Lin Moyu asked many questions at once, regardless of their usefulness. He aimed for comprehensiveness, believing that with enough comprehensive answers, he could analyze and derive accurate conclusions. Kei Jun's first answer surprised Lin Moyu. He knew about the existence of the world competition but didn't know its true meaning. However, he knew that many Tianzuns participated in the world competition, and there must be unknown benefits involved. Moreover, those who participated in the world competition were either well-connected or exceptionally powerful. There were many things involved, and even Kei Jun only knew a little. Aside from the world competition, Kei Jun was quite knowledgeable about other matters. The area they lived in was called the Southern Continent, which had the largest human population. Kei Jun couldn't say how large the Southern Continent was or how many humans there were. In short, the Southern Continent was very large, and the human population was vast. Besides the Southern Continent, there were the Northern Continent, Eastern Continent, and Western Continent. The 4 continents together were called the Origin Continent. The Northern Continent had the Demon race and Dragon race, the Western Continent had the Buddhist race and Insect race, and the Eastern Continent had various races, making it the most chaotic. The Sea of Realms lay at the junction of the 4 continents, vast and boundless, even larger than the 4 continents combined. Kei Jun also mentioned a place at the center of the 4 continents, a mysterious land. However, Kei Jun had never been there, only heard about it, so he wasn't clear on the details. Lin Moyu asked many more questions, but Kei Jun, despite being a mid-level Tianzun, had limited knowledge of the Southern Continent. Most of his time was spent in seclusion within the sect, cultivating. However, he was aware that the human race and demon race didn't get along well and often had conflicts. The human race and Buddhist race, as well as the demon race and Buddhist race, also had strained relationships. In short, Lin Moyu got the impression that this place was chaotic. Although there weren't as many races as in the Great World, it didn't seem much better. The Southern Continent also had ordinary people, who made up the majority, not all cultivators as Lin Moyu had imagined. However, the people here cultivated more advanced powers. They directly used the power of origin for cultivation and also had to comprehend laws, but they did so from the power of origin. Shuiji Tianzun finally returned, and Lin Moyu put Kei Jun away and returned to the Sea of Realms. Senior, you were quick, Lin Moyu flattered. Shuiji Tianzun chuckled, of course, such a big matter can't be handled by this old turtle alone. The Lord said he would take care of it, so we don't have to worry. Since we fought side by side, this old turtle came to talk to you about cultivation. You people from the Sea of Realms world must have doubts about the cultivation methods here and often go astray. But some paths, once taken wrongly, are hard to correct, so it's best to correct them before making mistakes. I don't know how you cultivated in the Sea of Realms world, as each world's methods differ, but here, there's only one way. In the human race, regardless of the sect, everyone uses the same method, which is to cultivate with the power of origin. From the beginning of cultivation, you use the power of origin, so the techniques, physical strength, and laws you comprehend will all possess the power of origin. You've been hunting fish schools, right? These origin crystals can be used for cultivation, and the effect is better when combined with fish meat. Lin Moyu asked, the fish meat helps with cultivation, right? Shuiji Tianzun replied, there are countless types of fish and insects in the Sea of Realms, even the king doesn't know how many kinds there are. Some fish meat can increase cultivation speed, some can enhance comprehension, and others can increase affinity with the Sea of Realms. In short, fish meat has many uses and many types. You can try them yourself or eat a bit of each, alternating. But before using origin crystals, you should refine them well to remove impurities. This will make the cultivation effect better. As your cultivation progresses, you can use higher-level origin crystals. However, origin crystals above the third tier are hard to find and depend on luck. Chapter 2393, 2393. Chapter 2393. If you can't play, don't play because of a battle. The relationship between Lin Moyu and Shuiji Tianzun underwent a subtle change. Shuiji Tianzun seemed to regard Lin Moyu as a comrade in arms and shared with him matters related to cultivation. The cultivation methods in the Sea of Realms and the origin continent differ somewhat from those in the Great World. Although both involve comprehending the laws of heaven and earth, in the Great World, one relies on oneself to comprehend, while in the origin continent, people directly comprehend through the origin. Origin items, origin crystals, origin power, anything containing origin can be used for comprehension. According to Shuiji Tianzun, people in the origin continent use special means at the beginning of their cultivation to determine which laws they are suited to cultivate. Then, they choose the corresponding origin crystals for cultivation. Depending on one's cultivation aptitude, the same amount of origin crystals can yield different results. For those with good aptitude, one piece of first-tier origin is enough to cultivate to the transcendent realm. For those with poor aptitude, it might take 2 or even 3 pieces. Shuiji Tianzun explained the cultivation process in great detail. Lin Moyu finally understood a principle: he no longer needed to deliberately comprehend the laws of the Sea of Realms. The laws of the Sea of Realms are the same as those of the origin continent, and everything in the origin continent is related to origin crystals. Origin crystals are the product of the laws of the origin continent. As long as he integrates origin crystals into his techniques can function in the origin continent. Moreover, the better the integrated origin crystals, the stronger the techniques. Shuiji Tianzun, while drinking, said, I suggest you first adapt to the laws here. There's no rush to improve your realm. There are many origin crystals in the Sea of Realms. Although their grade is a bit low, they can still be used. Let your techniques absorb the power of origin so that they can function outside the Sea of Realms. I'll see if I can get you some origin crystals too. Lin Moyu asked, according to my predecessors, there are many treasures in the Sea of Realms. Shuiji Tianzun replied, indeed, there are many. Collapsed Sea of Realms worlds and deceased cultivators in the Sea of Realms leave behind some things, but they are hard to find. Lin Moyu was puzzled, shouldn't they sink to the bottom of the sea? Shuiji Tianzun suddenly asked, does the Sea of Realms have a bottom? This question stumped Lin Moyu. Instinctively, he asked, doesn't it have a bottom? Shuiji Tianzun said, maybe it does. I've seen it a few times, but it's not the real bottom. Lin Moyu was speechless. What does it mean to have seen it a few times but not the real bottom? Since Shuiji Tianzun said so, there must be a reason. Thinking back to his own attempts to find the seabed, it seemed laughable. Lin Moyu asked, haven't you tried to find it? Shuiji Tianzun shook his head, can't go. The Sea of Realms beyond 500,000 meters is very dangerous. Old Turtle hasn't lived enough yet. Lin Moyu knew that, in most cases, the danger level of the Sea of Realms could be distinguished by depth. Depth is like a territory range. Within 10,000 meters of the sea surface is the activity range of other shore and Saint Supreme fish schools. Between 10,000 meters and 500,000 meters is the activity range of Supreme fish schools. Beyond 500,000 meters, Tianzun-level fish schools appear. However, this distance is currently beyond Lin Moyu's exploration capability, so he doesn't care. Tianzun-level fish schools rarely swim up, and under normal circumstances, Lin Moyu wouldn't encounter them. Shuiji Tianzun claims to be the manager of this sea area, but it actually only manages the area above 500,000 meters. The area below is not under its control, nor does it have the ability to manage it. After all, it is just one, while fish schools come in groups. According to it, hunting Tianzun-level fish schools might yield 4th-tier origin crystals. However, the danger is too high and not worth it. In a certain place in the southern continent, a purple glow descended from the sky like a waterfall, enveloping a mountain range and making it look resplendent. Within the mountain range, peaks floated in midair, also bathed in the purple glow. This was the location of the Luozi sect, a well-known sect in the area, attracting many who wished to join. A giant whale flew in from the distant sky. The southern continent was sunny and open, unlike the Sea of Realms, which was perpetually shrouded in dark clouds. The whale, over 1,000,000 meters long, descended from the sky, seen by many. Curious onlookers wanted to investigate, but before they could get close, they were repelled by the whale's pressure, retreating in fear. Even Tianzuns were no exception. The whale's pressure surpassed that of a Tianzun, reaching the Taoist level. Although they couldn't get close, many followed from afar, wanting to see where the whale was headed. Soon, someone deduced that the whale was heading towards the Luozi sect. The whale's speed was deceptively fast, and in the blink of an eye, it arrived above the Luozi sect. The whale descended, and the 1,000,000-meter-long behemoth pressed down from the sky. Purple light surged from the Luozi sect, activating countless formations, but they were ineffective. Before the whale, all formations crumbled upon contact. Peaks suspended in midair fell, and the once majestic and splendid Luozi sect was instantly in ruins. Scoundrel! Amidst the roars, terrifying auras soared into the sky, and countless Tianzuns rushed out from the sect. The whale let out a piercing scream, and screams followed as people fell like rain. The Tianzuns who had just rushed up all fell without exception. This scene made the distant onlookers' hearts pound. The power of a Taoist was fully displayed. No matter how strong the Tianzuns were or how many there were, they couldn't withstand a Taoist. Stop! Amidst the roars, the Luozi sect's sect master, dressed in a purple robe, charged towards the whale. He wielded a purple whip, striking at the whale. Everyone knew that the Luozi sect's sect master had half-step Taoist cultivation and was unrivaled in this area. It could be said that without a Taoist, he was the strongest. Unfortunately, no matter how strong he was still a Tianzun. The whale nonchalantly flicked its tail, creating countless tail shadows in the air, sending the Luozi sect's sect master flying back at an even faster speed. He crashed into a mountain range, causing the ground to shake and the mountain range to collapse. In an instant, the Luozi sect was reduced to ruins. The Luozi sect's sect master flew out from the ruins, looking extremely disheveled. His luxurious purple robe was tattered. It was a good treasure robe, but it couldn't withstand a casual strike from a Taoist. He no longer had his previous imposing manner, his eyes showing a hint of fear. "Senior Taoist, why such heavy-handedness against my Luozi sect?" The whale's cold gaze swept over, by the king's order, to teach the Luozi sect a lesson. "The king has a message for you." The king of the sea race, the Luozi sect's sect master was shocked. "It's that being." He dared not show any disrespect. "I am all ears." The whale's deep voice echoed. "In the world competition, life and death are determined by fate. No outsiders are allowed to interfere. This is ironclad law. Since your Luozi sect has chosen to participate in this game, you must abide by the rules. This is your first offense, a minor punishment is a warning. If it happens again, your sect will be annihilated." The whale's words were heavy and oppressive, each word like a heavy punch on everyone's heart. Even the distant onlooking Tianzuns felt extremely uncomfortable. They knew this was the Taoist's Tao law, akin to an oath. Only now did they understand that the whale came because the Luozi sect had violated the rules of the world competition. The whale was clearly saying, if you can't play, don't play. If you play, you must follow the rules. After delivering the message, the whale turned and left, quickly disappearing into the horizon. The Luozi sect's sect master looked at the devastated sect, his voice filled with anger. What happened while I was in seclusion? Chapter 2394, 2394. Chapter 2394. I'm Forever 16. Lin Moyu was chatting with Shuiji Tianzun, who seemed to have gotten drunk again and said a lot. Most of what he talked about was related to cultivation methods, but Lin Moyu noticed that due to racial differences, Shuiji Tianzun's cultivation methods differed from those of the human race. However, Lin Moyu could filter out the irrelevant parts and retain what was useful to him. Shuiji Tianzun also talked about the situation in the Sea of Realms. He had indeed explored the seabed of the Sea of Realms many years ago out of curiosity. The waters below 500,000 meters were the activity range of Tianzun-level strange fish. Besides strange fish, there were also some unknown creatures. Shuiji Tianzun cautiously dived down to a depth of 800,000 meters but still did not see the bottom. Later, when he reached the waters near 900,000 meters, he seemed to have seen the seabed. It was at that moment that he was attacked. That attack almost killed him there. Shuiji Tianzun paid a heavy price and barely escaped, taking a long time to recover from his injuries. That experience was unforgettable. Since then, he never dared to venture below 500,000 meters again and stayed obediently within his jurisdiction. So Shuiji Tianzun said he might have seen the seabed, but he might not have. Lin Moyu suddenly looked up into the distance. The thick clouds began to roll violently, and a giant whale flew out from the clouds. A terrifying aura swept over, piercing straight into his soul, making Lin Moyu's hair stand on end. An indescribable chill emerged from the depths of his soul, quickly spreading throughout his body. He had never encountered such a powerful aura before. If the other party wanted to kill him, Lin Moyu felt it would only take a glance. This is not a Tianzun, this is a Taoist. Lin Moyu whispered in his heart. Although he was shocked by the aura, fortunately, his soul did not sound an alarm, and he did not feel any hostility from the other party. The whale flew out from the clouds, skimming the sea surface. Wherever it passed, the Sea of Realms split in two, forming a wide waterway. The originally somewhat drunk Shuiji Tianzun suddenly shivered and sobered up. Turning his head, he saw the whale and muttered, "General Whale is back, so the matter should be resolved." The whale stopped when it was still 10,000 miles away and did not come too close. A deep voice sounded, "The Luozi sect has been warned." After saying this, the whale turned its massive body and flew in another direction. Shuiji Tianzun shouted loudly, "Thank you, General Whale." General Whale responded, "You're welcome." After General Whale had completely left, Lin Moyu spoke, "That was a Taoist, right?" Shuiji Tianzun nodded, "Yes, anyone who can become a general is a Taoist. The king of the sea race is a Taoist, and the generals are also Taoists. It seems the sea race has more than one Taoist." Shuiji Tianzun chuckled, "I wonder how the Luozi sect is doing. They probably won't have a good time. It's a pity that it was General Whale who took action this time. If it were the other two, the Luozi sect would probably be gone." Shuiji Tianzun spoke with some regret, but Lin Moyu could hear that he was gloating, hoping the Luozi sect would be finished. Lin Moyu asked, "Will the Luozi sect come looking for trouble again?" He knew that the dead purple-robed Tianzun was the only son of the Luozi sect's sect master. The reason they were in such a hurry was because the sect master's only son had died. Shuiji Tianzun said firmly, "They wouldn't dare. Even if the sect master's only son died, they wouldn't dare come again. This time, having General Whale warn them is the king's clear stance. Anyone who dares to come will be courting death." Lin Moyu asked, "What if the Taoist from the seven-colored sect comes?" Shuiji Tianzun chuckled, "That would be interesting. If he dares to come, with the king's temper, it would probably be General Shark who takes action, ensuring he never returns. Besides, what I said won't happen. The Taoist from the seven-colored sect won't easily take action. At most, they would send a Taoist elder. The southern continent is not peaceful. The human race has fierce internal conflicts. If the seven-colored sect loses their Taoist, they would be wiped out by other forces in no time." From Shuiji Tianzun's explanation, Lin Moyu understood that the human race in the southern continent was not as united as in the Great World. In the Great World, the human race huddled together for warmth and faced external threats together. In the southern continent, the human race formed various factions with different ideologies, often fighting to the death over certain matters. Each faction eyed the others warily, and no one dared to act recklessly. Moreover, the rules of the world competition were clear. Participation was allowed, but consequences were at one's own risk. Even if someone died, their elders couldn't come seeking justice. There was no justice to be found here. Shuiji Tianzun rambled on for a while before leaving contentedly with the wine. According to him, the matter with the Luozi sect was over. However, Lin Moyu didn't think it would end just like that. From K-Jun, he knew that the dead purple-robed Tianzun was the only son of the Luozi sect master. Pampered since childhood, his death would not be easily accepted by the other party. Although they couldn't directly come seeking revenge, they might find other ways. In this vast world, there were countless mystical techniques. Who knows what strange methods they might use? Lin Moyu felt it was better to stay vigilant. After Shuiji Tianzun left, Lin Moyu also didn't stay in the Sea of Realms and returned to the Great World. He didn't tell the Supremes about the Luozi sect, there was no need. After all, the Supremes in the Great World currently had no ability to go to the Sea of Realms. They should just stay peacefully in the Great World as Supremes. Lin Moyu shared some information with the human emperor, asking him to establish a database for analysis. Back at the estate in the Divine City, Yuzhu was playing with Xiaowu. Seeing Lin Moyu, Xiaowu rushed over and clung to him. Lin Moyu laughed, "It's been 10,000 years, why haven't you grown up?" Xiaowu snorted, "Why should I grow up? I'm forever 16. Perhaps because she was once a spirit, no matter how much time passed or how many years she lived, Xiaowu remained the same. At this moment, Xiaowu had reached the half-step supreme realm and seemed close to becoming a supreme. Maybe in a while, Xiaowu would become the Mist Supreme. Yuzhu watched them with a smile. "Is everything resolved?" Lin Moyu nodded. "Yes, it's resolved." "Did Qingru return to the Starry Skyfish clan?" Yuzhu nodded. "Sister Qingru missed home, so she went back with Senior Luotian. After being away for 10,000 years, it's time to go back and take a look." Listening to Lin Moyu, Yuzhu covered her mouth and chuckled. Actually, for Sister Qingru, it's only been a little over a year. They had spent over 400 days in the Sea of Realms, equivalent to a little over a year. For the Starry Skyfish clan, it was a time of great change, with the rise and fall of clans. Going back to take a look was good. With Luotian there would be no danger. Xiaowu clung to Lin Moyu for a long time, refusing to let go. According to her, "It's been 10,000 years since I last clung to you, so this time I need to cling enough." Lin Moyu let her be and took out a treasure robe. The treasure robe was what K-Jun had worn. It was this robe that had blocked the attack from the Great Tao of Fate. The robe was called the Brocade Jade Robe, a top-tier treasure among Tianzun-level items, which K-Jun had obtained during an adventure. The Brocade Jade Robe had strong defensive capabilities, able to block various attacks, but it still couldn't save K-Jun's life. Now the Brocade Jade Robe was damaged, just right for summoning the Elemental Lich. Chapter 2395, 2395. Chapter 2395. The Best Intelligence Agent, the Elemental Lich and Brocade. The flames of the Elemental Lich blossomed with beautiful and dazzling light. The Brocade Jade Robe was ignited and began to gradually melt in the flames, making the light even more dreamlike. "So beautiful," Xiaowu exclaimed. She had seen all kinds of lights, but the light she saw now was different. Various dazzling colors competed, emitting a unique aura of the Tianzun realm. It was precisely the aura of the Tianzun realm that made the colorful glow extraordinary. After the damaged Brocade Jade Robe melted, it turned into a mass of crystal-clear liquid. The liquid kept changing shape and finally turned into an Elemental Lich. Different from the Divine Power Lich and the Buddhist Lich, the Elemental Lich summoned with the Brocade Jade Robe was small in size, exuding a moist jade-like luster, looking like a doll. The most crucial point was that the Elemental Lich was still wearing a brocade robe, which was very exquisite, with flowing light and colors, clearly indicating that this robe was extraordinary. Xiaowu's eyes widened. "So cute." Lin Moyu's eyes were complex as he sensed the aura of the Tianzun realm from the Lich. Using the Brocade Jade Robe, he had unexpectedly summoned a Tianzun-level Lich, which was truly surprising. This also indicated that the Brocade Jade Robe was extraordinary, even stronger than the Golden Lotus of the ancient Buddha. Brocade Jade Lich Realm. Low-level Tianzun Grade. Perfect Growth Limit. None. Spells. Brocade Night Walk. Dao Protection. Brocade Night Walk. allows the Lich to enter an invisible and intangible state, ignoring most obstacles, evading most detection methods, and penetrating most formations. Dao Protection activates the power of the Dao to protect itself and its master, capable of resisting all attacks below the Taoist level. Dao Protection does not require summoning and can automatically activate when the Lich or its master is in danger. The attacks it can withstand will accumulate, and once the limit is reached, Dao Protection will lose its effect. Recovery time: 24 hours. Lin Moyu pondered that the Brocade Jade Lich did not possess any offensive power and belonged to a category of liches with special abilities. Brocade Nightwalk could allow it to go to most places as if entering an uninhabited land. If used for intelligence gathering, the effect would likely be astonishing. Lin Moyu knew that the spells would not exaggerate. If it said it could evade most detection methods and penetrate most formations, then it certainly could. According to Lin Moyu's estimation, methods below the Taoist level would be ineffective against the Brocade Jade Lich. Dao Protection could automatically protect, and it used the power of the Dao. Lin Moyu had seen the power of the Dao many times and knew how strong it was. This ability likely inherited the original function of the Brocade Jade Rogue. Kei Jun could block the attack from the Great Dao of Fate because of this. Lin Moyu was very satisfied with the Brocade Jade Lich, extremely satisfied. He had offensive liches and auxiliary liches, and now he had a defensive lich, completing his collection. The Brocade Jade Lich flew over in a daze, instinctively wanting to get close to its master, but suddenly a hand flashed like lightning and grabbed it. Xiaowu excitedly exclaimed, "Such a cute little thing. Hey, what's going on? Why did you disappear?" The Brocade Jade Lich instinctively activated Brocade Nightwalk, its body quickly disappearing and passing through Xiaowu's hand. Xiaowu looked around frantically, trying to find the cute Brocade Jade Lich but couldn't. Even a Tianzun probably wouldn't be able to detect the Brocade Jade Lich here. Only Lin Moyu, as its master, could clearly see where the Brocade Jade Lich was. Moreover, he could share the Brocade Jade Lich's vision and hearing. Whatever the Brocade Jade Lich saw and heard, Lin Moyu could simultaneously sense. Lin Moyu waved a containment rune array and ordered the Brocade Jade Lich to enter. The Brocade Jade Lich obediently entered the containment rune array. Lin Moyu then closed the containment rune array, trapping it inside. He then drew another rune to reinforce the containment rune array. Lin Moyu knew that even a Supreme would find it difficult to break through his seal, and even a Tianzun would need a few seconds. He then ordered the Brocade Jade Lich to come out. The order was given, and in less than a second, the Brocade Jade Lich appeared in front of Lin Moyu. The containment rune array remained intact, and the reinforcement runes he added showed no reaction. The Brocade Jade Lich had ignored them. Not bad, Lin Moyu thought to himself. Seeing the Brocade Jade Lich reappear, Xiaowu reached out to grab it again. Unfortunately, she missed again as the Brocade Jade Lich vanished into thin air. Xiaowu complained, "Master, what is this? Let it play with me, please." Lin Moyu smiled, "This is not a toy. You can't play with it. If you want to play, go find Xiaoyu or someone else. You have many friends now, and I heard you have a lot of fun with them." Xiaowu reluctantly agreed, "All right." Over the millennia, Xiaowu had made many friends, all of whom were star beasts, many of whom were Xiaoyu's friends. Then friends brought friends, and Xiaowu's circle of friends grew. Lin Moyu was not worried about Xiaowu's safety. After all, she was a half-step supreme, and might become a supreme one day. She was very safe in the great world. Yuzhu asked, "Was that little guy just now an elemental lich?" Lin Moyu replied, "Yes, the Brocade Jade Lich." Yuzhu laughed, "It indeed wore a very beautiful robe. Brocade Jade Lich is a fitting name." Lin Moyu wanted to test the Brocade Jade Lich's other abilities. With a thought, he gave it an order. The Brocade Jade Lich activated Brocade Nightwalk and silently disappeared. So fast, Lin Moyu was slightly surprised. After activating Brocade Nightwalk, the Brocade Jade Lich directly entered deep space and kept accelerating. Although it was not as fast as the space gate, it was much faster than Lin Moyu had been. Space was also an obstacle, but it couldn't stop Brocade Nightwalk. The Brocade Jade Lich's speed far exceeded the speed of light, almost reaching 1,000 times the speed of light, and in an instant, it flew tens of thousands of light years away. It quickly entered the territory of the Starry Sky Fish Clan and continued forward. The various formations set up by the Starry Sky Fish Clan were useless against the Brocade Jade Lich. The Brocade Jade Lich silently arrived at the core area of the Fish Clan and found Yu Qingru, who was in the Starry Skyfish clan. At this moment, the Starry Skyfish clan was holding a celebration, and the whole clan was celebrating something. Lin Moyu didn't understand the various celebrations of the Starry Skyfish clan and didn't care. He just wanted to see Yu Qingru and verify the abilities of the Brocade Jade Lich. Yu Qingru and Luoshan were sitting together in the main seat, smiling and looking very happy. Lin Moyu did not disturb her and controlled the Brocade Jade Lich to leave the Starry Skyfish clan and head to the secret realm in the Divine City Star Domain. The secret realm also couldn't stop the Brocade Jade Lich. It could enter and exit at will. After a series of tests, Lin Moyu had a thorough understanding of the Brocade Jade Lich. If used well, the Brocade Jade Lich's role would be astonishing. Lin Moyu rested in the manor for a few days, waiting for Yu Qingru to return before heading to the Sea of Realms together. At the same time, he prepared some fine wine, infused with the essence of origin, to give to the wine-loving Tianzun next time. In the southern continent of the Origin continent, an angry roar echoed from the Luozi sect. The sect master's voice was gloomy, who allowed him to participate in the world competition. Find out who let him participate in the world competition. Bastard, dare to kill my son, I will exterminate your entire clan. Killing intent soared, shattering the white clouds, and fell like 1,000 heavy punches, shaking the earth continuously. At this moment, all cultivators near the Luozi sect felt the killing intent. Chapter 2396, 2396. Chapter 2396. The true purpose of the world competition. Dark clouds have shrouded the Sea of Realms for countless years. No one knows how long these clouds have existed over the Sea of Realms. It seems that since the beginning of the world, the Sea of Realms has been covered by dark clouds. The creatures in the Sea of Realms have long been accustomed to it. If one day, the clouds were to clear, they might actually feel uncomfortable. Lin Moyu once again arrived at the Sea of Realms, still placing Yu Qingru and Yuzhu in the Great World and releasing 50 skeleton kings to protect them. The two could cultivate in peace and comprehend the laws. Lin Moyu then plunged into the Sea of Realms to continue hunting strange fish. The Great World had already been repaired. The origin he would collect next would be for his own use. There were still many techniques that needed to be integrated with the power of origin. Lin Moyu already had a detailed cultivation plan in his mind. He wanted to integrate all his techniques with the power of origin, elevating them to origin-level techniques. And not just ordinary origin, but at least 7th-tier origin. He had calculated that to fuse a 7th-tier origin, he would need 729 1st-tier origins, or 243 2nd-tier origins, or 81 3rd-tier origins. It didn't seem like much. Lin Moyu felt that if he worked hard, he could fuse one every 500 days. Of course, this was on the premise that the little guy of infinite fusion would cooperate and not cause any trouble. The reason for choosing 7th-tier origin was that, after detailed calculations, he found it to be the best result. 6th-tier origin was equivalent to the origin of the Great World. If he only used 6th-tier origin, he could just become a Tianzun and ask the Great World for it. He believed the Great World would definitely give it. If he became a Tianzun, he might even become the master of the Great World and directly manipulate the Great World's origin. But he was not satisfied with 6th-tier origin. He also wanted to elevate the Great World and reach the Taoist realm together with it. To elevate the Great World, ordinary 6th-tier origin was not enough. At least 7th-tier origin was needed, and not just one. Lin Moyu felt that after the Great World was elevated, he should also match the Great World. This was one reason. Another reason was that although origin could be repeatedly absorbed to continuously enhance the technique's power, if he used 5th-tier origin this time and wanted to enhance it with 6th-tier origin next time, he would have to start the fusion process all over again. It was too troublesome and better to do it in one go. After all the calculations, 7th-tier origin was the most suitable. If he wanted to elevate to 8th tier, the workload would be immense, and who knows how long it would take. Lin Moyu leapt into the Sea of Realms and began his hunting endeavor. Schools of fish were hunted, with the Skeleton Army, the Resurrected Army, the Skeleton Kings, the Buddhist Lich, and the Divine Power Lich working together, efficiently and effectively. Lin Moyu became a hands-off manager, not needing to do anything himself. He only needed to command the overall situation to reap the rewards. Skeleton generals continuously returned, bringing back the materials they obtained. Lin Moyu's stockpile was increasing at an astonishing rate. Several days later, Lin Moyu sensed the water waves ahead churning, and a Tianzun aura surged, mixed with a strong smell of alcohol. In the blink of an eye, the massive figure of Shuiji Tianzun appeared before Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu smiled, "Senior Shuiji, what brings you here?" Shuiji Tianzun chuckled, "Guess." Seeing its appearance, Lin Moyu waved his hand, and 2 jars of 10,000-year-old fine wine were thrown over. Was there even a need to guess? It was obvious that the wine was finished, and it came to ask for more. Shuiji Tianzun was not polite at all, directly taking the 2 jars of wine and giving Lin Moyu an approving look. "Kid, you're on the right track." Lin Moyu smiled, "Last time, Senior Shuiji helped so much. I haven't even had the chance to thank you." Shuiji Tianzun chuckled, "Your world has been completely restored, right? Now you're collecting origin crystals to elevate the world." Lin Moyu nodded, "That's one reason. I also want to use the origin crystals for cultivation to quickly adapt to the origin continent." Shuiji Tianzun hummed, "That's the right approach. Preparing well before truly entering the origin continent will save you from being bullied. But with your abilities, I doubt anyone can bully you." Previously, Lin Moyu decisively killed 2 Tianzuns from the Luozi sect. Shuiji Tianzun was well aware of Lin Moyu's combat power. A Tianzun is an elder-level figure in any sect, not someone who can be easily bullied. Lin Moyu smiled, "It's still early to go to the origin continent, and I can't leave the great world for now." Shuiji Tianzun tilted its head, "I almost forgot about that. You're deeply tied to the Sea of Realms world now, and leaving won't be easy." Lin Moyu nodded slightly, which was indeed the case. Shuiji Tianzun's large eyes kept turning, seemingly trying to think of a solution for Lin Moyu, but after a long time, it couldn't come up with a good idea. Frustrated, it shook its big head. "It seems you can only leave after the world competition ends." Lin Moyu had long wanted to ask this question but never had the chance. Every time he chatted with Shuiji Tianzun, the topics were led by Shuiji Tianzun. Lin Moyu mainly listened and occasionally asked questions to keep the conversation going and gain more information. Now, Lin Moyu took the opportunity to ask, "How can the world competition end?" Shuiji Tianzun said, "There are several ways to end the world competition, but first, you need to understand what the world competition is and why it is conducted. Ultimately, the true purpose of the world competition is for origin. You know, high-tier origin is hard to obtain, especially world-class origin, which is even rarer." Quote. Shuiji Tianzun began to speak at length, and Lin Moyu listened attentively. From Shuiji Tianzun's words, Lin Moyu finally understood what the world competition was, why it was conducted, and its true purpose. High-tier origin is extremely difficult to obtain, especially origin above the 6th tier, which is incredibly rare. If a place produces 7th tier origin, it will definitely trigger a great battle, with even Taoists possibly joining the fray. Because high-tier origin is so rare, the world competition was created. Various Sea of Realms worlds fight each other, devouring each other. This allows the world to grow until it reaches a sufficient height, and then the origin can be harvested. Lin Moyu couldn't help but ask, "What happens to the world whose origin is harvested?" Shuiji Tianzun chuckled, "That depends on the mood of its master. If the master is kind, they will transfer the creatures from the Sea of Realms world to their own rule world or place them in the origin continent, giving them a new place to live. If the master is ruthless, they won't care. When the world shatters, the creatures inside will fall out of the world. The strong and lucky ones might survive, but the weak ones are doomed. Most cultivators will directly initiate world destruction, causing the entire world to collapse, and no one will survive. Some are even worse. They will refine all the creatures in the world into a treasure or a great medicine to enhance themselves." Lin Moyu was shocked. "So, there won't be any Taoists in the Sea of Realms world?" Shuiji Tianzun shook its head, "Generally not. In most cases, the world competition ends before a Taoist appears in the Sea of Realms world. But there are exceptions. Sometimes the master initiating the world competition leaves for some reason, and when they return, a Taoist has already appeared in the Sea of Realms world. As a result, the master is killed by the Taoist, and the world changes hands. This has happened before. So, the world competition is very dangerous, not just because of the fighting but also because of the risk of being killed in return." Lin Moyu said, "It seems my world doesn't have a master." Chapter 2397, 2397. Chapter 2397, Another world is about to collide. Lin Moyu's doubts were confirmed by Shuiji Tianzun. Indeed, the great world no longer had a master. Shuiji Tianzun said, your world drifted into my sea area about 100 years ago. At that time, I knew that the master behind this world was already dead, and this world was riddled with holes, with all its strong beings dead and all Tianzuns gone. Otherwise, do you think that guy from the Luozi sect would have dared to start a world competition with you? Just look at the difference in scale between the two worlds. Shuiji Tianzun was right. If the Great World were intact and had several Tianzuns, the world competition wouldn't have mattered. Lin Moyu asked, so, the encounter between two worlds isn't natural but man-made? Shuiji Tianzun, perhaps parched from talking, opened a jar of wine and took a big gulp before continuing, both, actually. There are natural encounters and deliberate collisions. But your previous encounter was deliberate. It was just their bad luck. They thought they could easily take you down and rise to the top, but they ended up losing their lives. That's the fascinating part of the world competition. It's truly interesting. Lin Moyu had another question. If two worlds collide and both have masters, what happens to the loser? Shuiji Tianzun replied nonchalantly, the loser just loses, maybe gets hurt, and withdraws from the world competition. What else can happen? As long as you don't personally intervene, the other party generally won't attack you. But some people can't stand losing and break the rules by intervening personally, often resulting in their own deaths. Lin Moyu looked at his great world and murmured, how did you die? If you were still alive, how would you handle the beings in the great world? He was certain that the former master of the great world didn't die because of the world competition. Otherwise, the great world would have been devoured by another world long ago, and there wouldn't be any subsequent events. Lin Moyu now finally understood that the true purpose of the world competition was to obtain origin. Generally, Tianzuns initiate the world competition, trying every means to make their world grow to the 7th tier. The origin of a 7th tier world can support a Taoist, but these masters will extract the origin before a Taoist is born. Without origin, the world will inevitably collapse. Whether the beings in the world live or die depends on the master's mood. But Lin Moyu didn't need to do that. He could fuse origin, and obtaining 7th tier origin wasn't difficult for him. He even thought about integrating all his techniques with 7th tier origin. Unfortunately, ordinary origin couldn't make him a Taoist. To become a Taoist, he still needed world-class 7th tier origin. But it didn't matter. Lin Moyu believed that there was always a way. When the boat reaches the bridge, it will straighten itself out. There would always be a solution. Becoming a Taoist was still too distant to worry about. What he needed to do now was to become the new master of the great world. With no current master, he had a chance to become the new master. Once he became the new master of the great world, everything in the great world would be under his control. Reversing fate wouldn't be difficult. Even if the Tianzun realm couldn't reverse fate for his wives, becoming the new master of the great world would allow him to do so. The path ahead became clear. Lin Moyu sincerely said, thank you, senior. Shuiji Tianzun chuckled, no need to be so polite. We've fought side by side many times. One more thing, in about 3 years, or to be precise, 890 days, another world will collide with yours. This world is stronger than the Luozi sect's world, so be prepared. Lin Moyu was slightly surprised, another world is coming. Is it natural or deliberate? Shuiji Tianzun replied, of course, it's deliberate. You don't know, but a world without a master is a treasure. Moreover, the other party knows the previous state of your world and knows there are no Tianzuns in it. I can't interfere in the world competition, but I can give you some information to prepare. Saying this, Shuiji Tianzun threw out a shell, signaling Lin Moyu with his eyes. All the information he knew was in the shell. Due to the rules, he couldn't say certain things directly and had to use this method to inform Lin Moyu. Shuiji Tianzun said, if you really can't win, sever your connection with the world. I can ensure your safety. Lin Moyu naturally wouldn't sever his connection with the great world. If he were to do that, he would have done it long ago, not waited until now. But he still thanked Shuiji Tianzun for his kindness. Lin Moyu didn't immediately check the information in the shell. There was no rush, he still had more than 2 years. He looked at Shuiji Tianzun with warm eyes, thinking about how he always received help from others. In the small world, there was Bai Yiyuan, Meng Anwen, and Antares. In the great world, there was Zhu Qiwu, House Supreme, and Tianlong. Now in the Sea of Realms, he met Shuiji Tianzun. This seemingly cautious but kind-hearted old turtle had given him much help. Hey, don't look at me like that. I'm a male. Shuiji Tianzun shivered and shouted loudly. Lin Moyu, with his thick skin, wasn't embarrassed at all. I was just thinking about how many kind people have genuinely helped me along my cultivation journey. Shuiji Tianzun snorted. Old turtle isn't that kind. If it weren't for your good wine, I wouldn't bother with you. Lin Moyu knew it was a case of a sharp tongue but a soft heart and didn't expose him, regardless of the reason. Thank you. And 890 days, right? I'll do my best to prepare. Shuiji Tianzun nodded. Take a good look and prepare well. Don't blame me, old turtle really can't intervene. From the situation with the Luozi sect, Lin Moyu already saw that the rules of the sea race were very strict. As a member of the sea race, Shuiji Tianzun really couldn't interfere in the world competition. Otherwise, severe punishment awaited him. This meant that if the other party's Tianzun intervened in the world competition, Shuiji Tianzun also couldn't take action. At most, he could report the matter to the king afterward for the king to handle. As for how it would be handled, the result with the Luozi sect suggested that most cases would just receive a warning. After all, the great world had no backing, and those participating in the world competition had some background. Shuiji Tianzun left happily with 2 jars of wine, and Lin Moyu finally checked the information in the shell. The shell given by Shuiji Tianzun was identical to the Sea of Realms shell. To be precise, it was a Sea of Realms shell. The Sea of Realms shell not only had the ability to traverse world barriers but also to store information. However, its information storage capacity was not as good as pearl-like items. Lin Moyu understood Shuiji Tianzun's intention. By giving him a Sea of Realms shell instead of a pearl, Shuiji Tianzun left his mark on it. If Lin Moyu were to lose the battle, he could activate the shell and summon Shuiji Tianzun's mark. The other party might spare him out of respect for Shuiji Tianzun. Although it wasn't explicitly stated, it was essentially a life-saving charm. Thank you. Lin Moyu said thank you again before starting to check the contents. His brows gradually furrowed, and his expression became increasingly serious. Chapter 2398. 2398. Chapter 2398. The Demon Race, Thunderlight Purple Patterned Tiger. The world colliding this time is called the Demon Tiger World. The master of that world is a Thunderlight Purple Patterned Tiger from the Demon Race, possessing mid-level Tianzun combat power. The combat power of the Demon Tiger World is significantly stronger than that of the Fighting World, and its scale is almost half that of the Great World. Analyzing based on the world's scale, there are at least 3 to 5 Tianzuns within the world. The number of Supremes is estimated to exceed 100,000. In the world competition of the Sea of Realms, those worlds without a master are highly coveted. Especially like the Great World, which has experienced calamities, with its strong beings either dead or gone, making it even more desirable. The Great World has been targeted by more than just the Fighting World. The Demon Tiger World has also had its eyes on it for a long time. It's just that they are farther away, and it takes time for them to collide. Besides the previous Fighting World and the current Demon Tiger World, according to Shuiji Tianzun, other worlds are also heading towards the Great World. As long as the Great World does not have a new master, such events will continue to occur. 890 days in the Sea of Realms is equivalent to 24,000 years in the Great World. However, it is almost impossible to develop enough strength to contend with the Demon Tiger World within these 24,000 years. The Great World has just been restored and needs more time to reach its peak state. Lin Moyu finished reading the information in the Sea of Realms shell, his expression grave. The Demon Tiger World is very ruthless and will not spare any living beings. All the worlds it has devoured have been left with no survivors. And the Thunderlight Purple Patterned Tiger is very violent and domineering. It not only devours worlds but also kills the masters of other worlds. It seems this guy acts recklessly and probably has a significant background. A mid-level Tianzun is much stronger than a low-level Tianzun. Coupled with the characteristics of the demon race, it won't be easy to deal with. The information provided by Shuiji Tianzun was very detailed, including some information about the demon race. The demon race is a powerful race, often with extraordinary talents, making them absolute powerhouses among their peers. In most cases, humans find it difficult to defeat demon race beings of the same level. Of course, there are exceptions. Some humans have extremely powerful combat capabilities or possess powerful treasures. The Thunderlight Purple Patterned Tiger is also a strong contender within the demon race. Even mid-level human Tianzuns would need powerful treasures to contend with it. Neither the Demon Tiger World nor the Thunderlight Purple Patterned Tiger will be easy to deal with. Fortunately, there is still time to prepare. Should I tell them? Lin Moyu pondered while holding the Sea of Realms shell. After some thought, Lin Moyu decided it was necessary to inform them. He had no intention of being a hero, and facing a strong enemy could also stimulate the cultivation potential of the human race. After thousands of years of peaceful life, he felt that the human race seemed to have lost some of its sharpness. Lin Moyu arrived at the edge of the Great World and immediately opened the world barrier. Now, his relationship with the Great World was very close, and the recognition of the Great World rune gave Lin Moyu many authorities. Free access to the Great World was one of them. Yu Qingru noticed Lin Moyu's unusual expression. What happened? Lin Moyu said, I'll tell you later. I need to go somewhere first. After saying that, he rushed into the Great World. Yu Qingru frowned slightly. She knew something must have happened. Yu Zhu was a bit worried. Husband seems a bit anxious. Yu Qingru nodded. We'll know soon. The time flow between the inside and outside of the world differed by 10,000 times. They waited for less than half a minute, but Lin Moyu had already returned. In less than half a minute, 2 days had actually passed inside the Great World. With Lin Moyu's speed, 2 days were enough to do many things. He handed the Sea of Realms shell to How Supreme and the others. The next steps would be arranged by them. How Supreme and the Human Emperor had much more experience in handling such matters, so Lin Moyu didn't need to worry. After returning, Yu Zhu immediately asked, Husband, what happened? Lin Moyu smiled, nothing much, just another world heading towards us. Yu Zhu gasped softly, her eyes showing a hint of tension. Yu Qingru, on the other hand, remained calm. How much time do we have? Lin Moyu said, 890 days in the Sea of Realms. 890 days, over 24,000 years. Yu Qingru calculated in her mind and said, Husband, you just informed the Supremes, right? Lin Moyu smiled, yes, I told them. Let them handle matters within the Great World, and I'll take care of my own preparations. Yu Zhu asked with some concern, is that world powerful? Lin Moyu briefly explained the situation of the Demon Tiger world and concluded, don't worry, we can handle it. Yu Zhu clenched her fists, I believe in you, husband. Yu Qingru nodded, we've overcome greater difficulties before. The Demon Tiger world is nothing. She was right, they had survived even more dangerous situations before. Compared to those, the Demon Tiger world was indeed not much. Lin Moyu knew what he needed to do, enhance his own strength. In just over 24,000 years, it was unlikely for the Great World to produce a Tianzun. So, to contend with a Tianzun, he had to rely on himself. Since advancing to mid-level Supreme, the combat power of the Undead Legion had also improved. The combat power of the Skeleton Kings had reached high-level Supreme, and the Undead Legion and Death Knight Legion had reached peak Supreme. The only pity was that the Skeleton King was still at peak Supreme and had not stepped into the Tianzun realm. This showed how difficult it was to become a Tianzun. The Death Knight Legion, Undead Legion, and Skeleton King were all at peak Supreme, but their combat power varied significantly. In a real fight, the Skeleton King could crush them with absolute superiority. This also indicated that the strength gap within the peak Supreme realm was very large. Although they were all called peak Supreme, their combat power was entirely different. Lin Moyu wasn't sure if the Skeleton King had truly reached the limit of peak Supreme. Based on his past experience, only when the Skeleton King truly reached its limit would his next realm breakthrough possibly allow the Skeleton King to break through its bottleneck and step into the Tianzun realm. Besides that, there was another method, using stronger origin to elevate the Skeleton King. Lin Moyu had already made up his mind. The first technique to enhance would be the Skeleton King. As long as the Skeleton King could reach the Tianzun realm, all problems would be solved. Once the Skeleton King advanced, it would be a collective advancement. 250 Tianzun-level Skeleton Kings, combined with the Buddhist Lich and Divine Power Lich, would make even the Thunderlight Purple-patterned tiger think twice. Lin Moyu once again devoted himself to the great hunting endeavor, continuously accumulating origin crystals. Once he had enough origin crystals, he could proceed with the fusion. Lin Moyu felt as if he had returned to the days when he traveled far and wide to save the Great World. Although busy, he felt fulfilled. Lin Moyu did not return to the Great World, nor did he pay attention to it. His sole focus was on enhancing his combat power. Time passed day by day, and the number of origin crystals in Lin Moyu's possession increased. 100 days later, a powerful aura flew from afar, dispersing the dark clouds and arriving at the Sea of Realms. Chapter 2399, 2399. Chapter 2399. Daozun of the seven-colored sect. A terrifying aura spread over the boundary sea. Fortunately, it did not enter the boundary sea but flew rapidly beneath the dark clouds. Wherever it passed, the dark clouds rolled and shattered. The boundary sea surged with 10,000-meter-high waves. The powerful momentum was like an invisible giant sword that split the boundary sea into two, forming a 10,000-meter deep waterway. Countless strange fish were blasted into the air and then fell back down. More strange fish fled in fear towards the depths. The boundary sea is not ordinary seawater. Each drop contains immense power. Even if Lin Moyu used all his strength, he could at most create a splash tens of thousands of meters high. But the other party caused an apocalyptic scene just by flying over, an unimaginable difference in power. There are countless worlds floating in the boundary sea, but under the impact of its momentum, many worlds involuntarily change their original direction. Many of these worlds have masters, some of whom are in the boundary sea, watching over their worlds. They all turned pale and exclaimed, "What a terrifying aura, a Daozun has arrived. Not good, he's coming our way, quickly avoid him." These people couldn't even care for their worlds, choosing to avoid the danger themselves first. When a Daozun passes, Tianzins retreat. Only after the Daozun had gone far did these Tianzins breathe a sigh of relief. Daozuns are truly terrifying. One day, I will also become a Daozun. As long as I keep winning in the world contest and obtain high-tier primordial essence, I will definitely become a Daozun. What is a Daozun doing here? Could it be that a Daozun wants to participate in the world contest? Who knows? The actions of a Daozun are beyond our comprehension. In the world contest, these people are usually competitors, ready to fight to the death at any moment. The appearance of a Daozun made them temporarily put aside their competition and talk like friends, which was quite amusing. Lin Moyu suddenly felt a terrifying aura approaching from afar. He quickly judged that the other party was heading straight for his location. With a thought, Lin Moyu immediately returned to the Great World, gave a brief instruction, and then took Yu Qingru and Yuzhu back into his rule world. Just as he finished, he saw 10,000-meter high waves rising in the distance, with a figure stirring the dark clouds and riding the waves towards him. The terrifying aura hit him head-on, making Lin Moyu feel a heavy pressure, almost unable to stand. Daozun, Lin Moyu whispered. He had seen a similar aura on General Whale. A human Daozun had come to the boundary sea. What was his purpose? As he pondered, Water-Stop Tianzun suddenly emerged from the sea, looking solemn. "Get on my back." Lin Moyu understood Water-Stop Tianzun's intention and didn't hesitate, landing directly on its back. Water-Stop Tianzun was a Tianzun of the sea race. Even if a human Daozun wanted to kill it, they would have to consider the consequences. Standing on Water-Stop Tianzun's back, Lin Moyu's safety was greatly enhanced. Lin Moyu whispered, "Senior, do you know him?" Water-Stop Tianzun replied, "I don't know him, but I know he is from the Seven-Colored Sect." The Seven-Colored Sect, the main sect of the Falling Purple Sect. Lin Moyu whispered, "Is he here to demand an explanation for the Falling Purple Sect?" He thought that if it were about the Falling Purple Sect, he should be looking for General Whale, not him. Maybe he was just passing by. Water-Stop Tianzun whispered, "Don't speak, and don't use soul communication. I'll handle it and buy some time. Someone will come soon." Lin Moyu nodded, knowing that even soul communication couldn't be hidden from a Daozun. The Daozun of the Seven-Colored Sect charged straight towards Lin Moyu. From extreme speed to stillness, it was just a moment. He hovered in midair, his gaze lowered, and the pressure of a Daozun rolled over, pressing down on Lin Moyu and Water-Stop Tianzun. Lin Moyu felt as if he were being gripped by a giant hand, and with just a thought, the Daozun could crush him. This feeling was unbearable, a sense of powerlessness as if he were at someone else's mercy. "I must become stronger," Lin Moyu vowed silently. He needed to become stronger so that no one could control him. Whether for himself or for the great world, he had to become stronger. Strength was not for oppressing others but for ensuring others could reason with him properly. The Daozun of the Seven-Colored Sect looked down at Lin Moyu and Water-Stop Tianzun with a hint of disdain. A human supreme and a sea-race Tianzun, interesting. He could clearly see the relationship between Lin Moyu and the great world. A human supreme from a boundary sea world having a good relationship with a sea-race Tianzun was quite amusing to him. Lin Moyu also looked at him. He wore a white robe with a rainbow pattern, featuring 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, hence the name Seven-Colored Sect. The seven-colored sect is the main sect, with 7 branch sects, one of which is the falling purple sect. General Whale had just warned the falling purple sect, and now the Dao Zun of the seven-colored sect had come. It was hard not to suspect that the seven-colored sect was here to cause trouble. Water Stop Tianzun said loudly, "Senior, what brings you here?" The Dao Zun of the seven-colored sect sneered, "No need to be nervous. I'm not here to kill anyone. I informed your king before coming and received permission." Water Stop Tianzun breathed a sigh of relief upon hearing this. It saw a jade token hanging from the Dao Zun's waist, with the character, Wei, engraved on it, and suddenly realized his identity. "Senior, are you Wei Xin of the seven-colored sect?" Wei Xin responded lightly, "You know my name." Water Stop Tianzun replied, "I've heard of it. Among the Dao Zuns of the seven-colored sect, Senior Wei Xin is quite famous." Wei Xin's tone softened a bit, "I didn't expect my name to reach the boundary sea." Water Stop Tianzun tried to make small talk, "I wonder what brings Senior Wei Xin here personally." Wei Xin said, "I'm here to investigate something. I'll act once General Whale arrives." "I've arrived." Just as he finished speaking, General Whale's voice came from afar. General Whale emerged from the sea, bringing a wave of seawater with him. Wei Xin cupped his fists towards General Whale. "Now that General Whale is here, I'll proceed." "Please bear witness, General Whale." General Whale said, "Go ahead. The king has already said that as long as you don't interfere in the world contest, you can do as you please." Wei Xin chuckled and took out a treasure. The treasure looked like a compass, very ancient, exuding a vast aura. Lin Moyu immediately sensed the laws of time within it. This compass was a treasure of the time laws. Moreover, its level was at least at the limit of Tianzun, stronger than any Tianzun treasure he had seen. If I use it to summon an elemental lich, what kind of lich would it summon? As soon as the thought arose, Lin Moyu quickly dismissed it. Stealing a treasure from a Dao Zun was a quick way to reincarnate. The compass treasure activated, and runes rose from it. The runes were extremely mysterious, different from those in the Great World. However, runes are fundamentally the same. With Lin Moyu's understanding of runes, he could roughly discern their purpose. These runes invoke the laws of time, the time laws of the boundary sea. Suddenly, the sky lit up with different colors. Countless colors intertwined, and a brilliant river appeared. Chapter 2400, 2400. Chapter 2400. This is the true power of a Dao Zun. The river of time appeared, and Lin Moyu felt as if he was seeing an old friend. The river of time in the great world seems no different from the river of time in the boundary sea, Lin Moyu thought to himself. He already knew what Wei Xin was going to do. He wanted to use the river of time to see who exactly killed the purple-robed Tianzun. However, there was a difference between inside and outside the world. It was difficult to see what happened inside the world from the outside. Wei Xin had also said that he would not interfere with the world contest, so naturally, he would not enter the boundary sea world. Moreover, at that time, Tianlong had erased the time imprints of that period, leaving no traces. Lin Moyu had used time reversal countless times. He was certain that Wei Xin would not be able to get anything. The river of time cast down light and shadows, revealing events that had occurred in the past. Every little detail from the past appeared in the light and shadows. The scene showed the 3 Tianzins from the falling purple sect arriving here last time, with arrogant attitudes, and finally being killed by Shuiji Tianzun and Lin Moyu. Wei Xin's gaze showed surprise as he looked at Lin Moyu. "Little one, your combat power is quite strong. A mid-tier supreme reversing the situation and killing a Tianzun, this combat power was terrifyingly strong." Wei Xin didn't seem angry about Lin Moyu killing the Tianzins from the falling purple sect. This made Lin Moyu ponder about the relationship between the seven-colored sect and the falling purple sect. Could it be that the relationship between the two sects is just average, or is it because of Wei Xin's status as a Dao Zun that he simply doesn't care about the life or death of Tianzins? Thinking this, Lin Moyu spoke, "Thank you for the praise, senior. I was just defending myself." Wei Xin smiled slightly without saying more and continued with the time reversal. The power of the river of time seeped into the great world. The river of time was only searching for past events from within the great world, so it didn't count as interfering with the world contest. Lin Moyu did not stop it, nor did he have the ability to stop it. He only hoped that the Dao Zun's abilities were not too outrageous. Events that occurred in the great world also appeared in the light and shadows. Lin Moyu watched carefully, not daring to miss any details. He knew clearly that Wei Xin wouldn't miss any details either. Facing a Dao Zun, even the slightest error would be caught. Fortunately, Tianlong had done a thorough job. The erased imprints could not be recovered even by a Dao Zun. The purple-robed Tianzun, including the 4 Tianzins who came later, had all disappeared from the river of time. Wei Shen frowned. The time imprints have been erased. When time imprints are erased, there will be gaps in the river of time. This couldn't escape a Dao Zun's notice. At this moment, he placed his finger on the compass treasure, and the river of time became even more brilliant. Lin Moyu was shocked inwardly. He sensed an unprecedented level of time laws. It could no longer be called laws, but should be called the Great Tao of Time. Wei Shen strengthened the search, but still had no results. He muttered to himself, they did a thorough job, but it's useless. At this point, he took out a purple robe that looked identical to the purple-robed Tianzun's clothes. It should be said that it was the purple-robed Tianzun's clothes, still carrying his aura. Wei Shen ignited flames in his palm, burning the purple robe to ashes, then sprinkled the ashes onto the compass treasure. At the same time, vast and powerful energy poured into the compass, causing it to rumble and resonate. Suddenly, a hazy figure appeared in the projection. Lin Moyu was greatly shocked inwardly. This is using causality, combined with the river of time, to forcibly restore the erased imprints. This technique, Dao Zuns are truly terrifying. The figure that appeared seemed to be the purple-robed Tianzun, but it was blurry and difficult to confirm. However, this was enough. At least it could be seen clearly. At this moment, a dragon-like being appeared and bit the purple-robed Tianzun to death. Wei Shen's brows furrowed tightly. Dragon race. The scene hadn't ended. After the purple-robed Tianzun was killed, 4 more figures appeared and began chasing the dragon. These scenes all appeared through the law of causality, hazy and vague, only giving a general idea. Next, the dragon began to flee, with the 4 Tianzins in pursuit. Suddenly, another dragon flew out and directly killed the 4 Tianzins. Wei Shen's body trembled, the projection disappeared, and the river of time vanished. Wei Shen frowned. How could it be the dragon race, and there's even a Dao Zun level dragon? Although he spoke very softly, Lin Moyu still heard it. At this point, Lin Moyu was completely certain that Antares' realm was indeed Dao Zun. Only a Dao Zun could kill 4 Tianzins from outside the world. Wei Shen put away his treasure. From beginning to end, he had never suspected Lin Moyu. In his view, although Lin Moyu could fight against Tianzins, he wouldn't be able to kill them so decisively. Seeing the dragon race take action in the projection also confirmed his guess. Both the purple-robed Tianzun and the other 4 Tianzins were killed by the dragon race, 1 Tianzun-level divine dragon and 1 Dao Zun-level divine dragon. General Whale said, "Are you done?" Wei Shen nodded, "Yes, I'm done. Thank you, General Whale. Please convey my respects to the king." General Whale grunted, "Then you can leave now." Wei Shen smiled, then suddenly looked at Lin Moyu. "If you ever come to the Origin Continent, feel free to visit the 7-colored sect." As he spoke, he threw a jade token to Lin Moyu. "This is my token. Show it at the 7-colored sect, and you can see me." Without waiting for Lin Moyu to respond, he turned and left. When he arrived, his aura was overwhelming, but when he left, it was silent. General Whale watched Wei Shen leave, then gave Lin Moyu a deep look before also turning to leave. Only then did Shuiji Tianzun breathe a sigh of relief. Goodness, that scared this old turtle to death. Too terrifying, I need some wine to calm down. Lin Moyu smiled slightly and took out a jar of wine for him. Shuiji Tianzun happily accepted it. "Kid, you're sensible." Lin Moyu asked, "Was he here just to investigate the death of the purple-robed Tianzun?" Shuiji Tianzun took a big gulp of wine and said in a low voice, "What else? I guess the master of the falling purple sect paid a hefty price to get the Dao Zun of the 7-colored sect to take action. Unfortunately, it was all for nothing." He then tilted his head to look at Lin Moyu, giving him a meaningful glance, and then looked at the jade token in Lin Moyu's hand. Lin Moyu understood immediately and nodded slightly. Lin Moyu asked, "Now that they know the purple-robed Tianzun was killed by the dragon race, what will they do?" Shuiji Tianzun sneered, "What can they do? Let it go, of course. Do you think they would dare seek revenge against the dragon race? Those guys died for nothing." Lin Moyu asked, "Is the dragon race very powerful?" Shuiji Tianzun replied, "Of course they're powerful. If they weren't, how could they act as judges? I don't know how those guys provoke the dragon race. The dragon race rarely takes action." Lin Moyu knew the reason very well, but he wouldn't say it. It was a secret between him, Tianlong, and Antares. Holding the jade token, Lin Moyu continued to ask, Senior Shuiji, can you tell me more about the dragon race? Shuiji Tianzun chuckled, since you're so sincere, I'll kindly tell you. In the distance, Wei Xin could still hear the conversation between Lin Moyu and Shuiji Tianzun. From their conversation, it was clear that neither of them knew about the death of the purple-robed Tianzun. Moreover, Lin Moyu seemed completely unaware of the dragon race, as if he had never encountered them. Gradually, the last bit of suspicion in Wei Xin's heart disappeared, and he sped up, leaving the boundary sea.